हेलो फ्रेंड्स, वेलकम बैक टू माय चैनल। तो आज की वीडियो में इसका नेक्स्ट पार्ट कंटिन्यू करने वाला हूँ। तो बिना किसी तरीके चालू करते हैं। लेकिन स्टार्ट करने से पहले गाइस मेरा भी एक नोटिस है कि मैं भी एक हिंदी फैन फिक्शन स्टोरी स्टार्ट करने वाला हूँ। और वो अभी टाइम लगेगा, लगभग 1 मंथ के अराउंड टाइम लगेगा। लेकिन जैसे ही स्टार्ट करने वाला हूँ उसी तरह से आपको मिलेगा एक से एक इंटरेस्टिंग स्टोरीज़, मेरे ओल्ड चैनल से भी और मेरे न्यू चैनल से भी, सबका हिंदी वर्जन। और न्यू स्टोरीज़ तो आपको मिलते रहेगा हिंदी में भी। और थोड़ा इसलिए लेट भी होगा गाइस, क्योंकि अभी मैं उतना टाइम भी नहीं दे पा रहा हूँ और मेरे पास उतना अभी कोई अच्छा टूल्स भी नहीं है, यानी वेबसाइट सब नहीं है जिससे मैं हिंदी में कर सकूँ। इसी वजह से मैंने बहुत से आप लोगों के ना रिक्वेस्ट के कारण मैंने अपने भाई का चैनल को आपको बताया हूँ। तो आपको ज़्यादा टेंशन लेने की ज़रूरत नहीं है गाइस, मैं भी स्टार्ट करूँगा, पहले भी बता रहा था अभी भी बता रहा हूँ। तो हिंदी वर्जन में आएगा ज़रूर मेरा चैनल गाइस, लेकिन थोड़ा लेट होगा। 1 मंथ का अराउंड का गाइस मुझे टाइम दीजिए। उसके बाद मैं हिंदी वर्जन में अपना एक नया फैन फिक्शन चैनल स्टार्ट करने वाला हूँ। तो बिना किसी देरी के चलिए ये वाला वीडियो को स्टार्ट करते हैं।
Chapter 95, Snake Girl Dies, Finally Gets the Magic Herb. The original devouring gold bugs were silver, with 6 sharp insect legs and 2 fangs. Now, after devouring Douluo, a level 91 titled Douluo, golden patterns appeared on their bodies, their eyes turned red, their fangs became even sharper, and they became more ferocious. These were clear signs of evolution. And I can't let go of the aura old poison left nearby either. Ning Chuan would not forget that in the original novel, after Tang San was captured, Yu Shaogang determined that Bo was responsible through Luo Sanpao's sense of smell. So, he decisively controlled the devouring gold bugs to search and devour the aura left behind after Bo's death. After completing all of this, Ning Chuan left the mimicry cultivation ground as if nothing had happened and returned to his residence. Heaven-Do Royal Academy arranged an independent 3-story Western-style building for the 3 of them. This was prepared by Qian Runshui using her crown prince authority. The first floor was the living room, Ning Chuan lived on the second floor, and Zuqing and Rongrong lived on the third floor. They had already prepared dinner for Ning Chuan, then returned to their respective rooms to meditate and cultivate. Dinner was very rich, with meat and vegetables, and also spirit beast meat, placed in special insulated boxes. And under the insulated box, there was also a note pressed down. Remember to eat it all, no leftovers allowed. Looking at the 8 delicate small characters on it, Ning Chuan recognized it as Little Cat's handwriting, with a ghost face resembling Ning Rongrong drawn next to it, which was undoubtedly drawn by Ning Rongrong, and Ning Chuan couldn't help but show a knowing smile on his face. After dinner, in order to prevent anyone from secretly monitoring him, Ning Chuan took a laxative he had never used before. After successively testing Tang Rishan, Sword Douluo, Bone Douluo, and the 2 titled Douluo protecting Qian Runshui, Snake Lance and Porcupine Fish, and finding that there was no one around. Finally, he transferred the side effects to Shui Bang, the 4th prince of the Heaven-Do Empire, whom he had not seen much until now. Only then did he leave a note saying he had something to go out for, that he would be back in a few days at the shortest or a month at the longest, and that there would be a surprise upon his return, then quietly left Heaven-Do Royal Academy overnight, heading alone towards Sunset Forest. From Heaven-Do Royal Academy to Sunset Forest was not far. It was only about 200 li. In the early morning, just as dawn was breaking, Ning Chuan had already arrived at the outskirts of Sunset Forest. He leapt onto a large tree and took out the map that Qian Runshui had sent him that day. Looking at the location of Bo's residence circled on the map, Ning Chuan simply determined the direction and then soared away, but he hadn't gone far before encountering Spirit Beast interception. Although he easily killed them, it wasn't a sustainable solution. So, after a moment of thought, he summoned his devouring gold bug spirit, which, after devouring the title Douluo Bo, not only evolved but also increased in number tenfold, from several thousand to tens of thousands. Of course, controlling them was also extremely difficult. With Ning Chuan's current spirit power and mental force, he could only use them for a maximum of 1 minute, but with Tang Rishan, that big scapegoat, it was different. The devouring gold bugs buzzed out, forming a massive insect cloud that swirled around Ning Chuan. In an instant, they covered his entire body, forming dense layers that completely dyed him golden and silver. Finally, they formed a dark, profound, and imposing strange black armor, enveloping Ning Chuan. This made him no longer emit any spirit power fluctuations whatsoever. This way, I don't have to worry about being targeted by spirit beasts anymore. This was an armor composed of devouring gold bugs. In fact, Ning Chuan had started experimenting with it a long time ago. During his 6 years at Notting Academy, in order to practice controlling the swarm, he not only tried to condense armor but also tried to condense swords, spears, and staffs. However, due to the devouring gold bugs being only juveniles and not numerous before, the condensed forms were not practical. Now, he could initially control them as he wished. 2 days passed, and Ning Chuan finally found Bo's residence. He had set up a poison array on the periphery. With the devouring gold bugs armor, Ning Chuan regarded the poison array as nothing. As soon as the poisonous mist approached him, it was completely devoured by the devouring gold bugs hidden inside the armor. Passing through the poison array, Ning Chuan then discovered that inside was a dense jungle, and at the center of the jungle there was a hill about 500 meters high. A mountain path led directly from the foot of the mountain to the summit. And in front of the mountain path stood a uniquely elegant bamboo house, which was embedded into the mountain, connected to it, and vaguely, one could even see the cave dwelling inside the bamboo house. Who are you? How did you get in? As soon as Ning Chuan approached the bamboo house, a delicate shout came from inside, followed by a green figure with a human body and snake tail soaring out, looking at him with full vigilance. It was Douluo Yan, who had already completed her spirit possession. You shouldn't have appeared here. You can only blame your bad luck. Ning Chuan looked at her with a cold expression, muttering inwardly, then raised his right hand, and the devouring gold bugs wrapping his right arm flew away, revealing a slender and fair palm, while those devouring gold bugs instantly turned into an insect cloud and enveloped Douluo Yan. Ah, my grandfather won't let you go. Douluo Yan only managed to let out a tragic wail before she was completely devoured by the devouring gold bugs. Not even a spirit tool remained. After devouring Douluo Yan, the devouring gold bugs returned to Ning Chuan's right arm, reverting to the appearance of the strange black armor. Ning Chuan let out a long sigh. To be honest, Ning Chuan still admired this woman from the original novel who dared to love and hate, and never once gave Tang San a second glance from beginning to end. Unfortunately, she appeared here, meaning she knew Douluo Bo had gone to find him. In order not to let people connect Douluo Bo's death to him, and thus discover his secret, she had to die. The immortal herbs should be inside this hill. The most urgent matter is still the immortal herbs. He quickly soared up the hill and soon saw the mountain depression where the ice and fire yin-yang well was located at the summit. Below the depression, thick steam rose. Without any hesitation, Ning Chuan extended his 8 spider lances from his back and soared towards the bottom of the mountain depression. In a short while, he saw the ice and fire yin-yang well, but compared to that, Ning Chuan preferred to call it the Mandarin duck pot. And those immortal herbs he had been longing for a long time. There were Inferno Apricot Flood, Octagonal Mysterious Ice Grass, Yearning Heartbroken Red, Looking Through Autumn Water Dew, Narcissus Jade Muscle Bone, 10,000 Year Ginseng King, and so on. Ning Chuan quickly collected the Yearning Heartbroken Red and other immortal herbs, and then he didn't let go of other rare and exotic herbs either. After all, these medicinal herbs were all great tonics. Even if he didn't need them, he could use them to feed the devouring gold bugs. Finally, he came before the Inferno Apricot Flood and Octagonal Mysterious Ice Grass, which had to be consumed simultaneously to exert their medicinal effects. He pulled them up simultaneously in an extremely short time and put them into his mouth, beginning to refine their medicinal power. With Tang Rishan, that big scapegoat who had caused him various side effects before, Ning Chuan didn't suffer much pain when refining these 2 immortal herbs, but to quickly refine them, he still jumped into the Mandarin duck pot. P.S. Headache. Chapter 96 Shrek's current situation. A month passed quickly. Because Douluo Bo and Douluo Yan had already been killed, Ning Chuan was able to refine the 2 immortal herbs without any disturbance. Perhaps it was also because Ning Chuan's physique far surpassed that of the original Tang San. Ning Chuan not only completed the process of ice and fire refining his body, causing his 8 spider lances to undergo an evolution, changing from their original dark black to a dark red with white patterns, making the 8 spider lances look even more ferocious. In this short month, utilizing the special environment of the ice and fire yin-yang well, he refined a portion of the medicinal power of the Inferno Apricot Flood and the Octagonal Mysterious Ice Grass, increasing his spirit power by 1 level. His spirit power has now broken through to level 36. P.S. In the original work, consuming these 2 immortal herbs would not directly increase spirit power, it mainly enhanced and improved physique, as well as improving the spirit and evolving the external spirit bone. Of course, the medicinal power remaining in the body could still help improve strength. In the original work, Tang San increased his level by 3 within half a year after refining the immortal herbs. Of course, these are just the most basic benefits. Most of the medicinal power of the Inferno Apricot Flood and the Octagonal Mysterious Ice Grass still remained in his body. If he continued to cultivate in the ice and fire yin-yang well, he was confident he could raise his spirit power to level 40 within half a year. But for now, he couldn't. He still needed to bring Little Cat and his teacher Louise, as well as Ning Rongrong. If he gave her a Kiluo tulip, she would be incredibly moved. Thinking of this, Ning Chuan no longer hesitated, took out a set of brand new clothes and put them on, then left the Sunset Forest and headed towards Heaven Do Royal Academy. And just as Ning Chuan was rushing back, the Shrek people had already arrived at Heaven Do Royal Academy. Is this Heaven Do Royal Academy? This isn't an academy, it's clearly a mountain. As soon as they arrived, the Shrek people, who had never seen such a grand sight, were stunned by Heaven Do Royal Academy. Even Tang San, who considered himself calm and collected, couldn't help but gasp. Compared to Heaven Do Royal Academy, their previous Shrek Academy was not even comparable to an outhouse. Only Xiao Wu remained worried from beginning to end, disliking play and mischief. All day long, besides diligent cultivation, she was silent. She seemed out of place. Ever since Ning Chuan left, she had become like this. Especially after Tang Rishan appeared, she became even more so. However, precisely because of this, her strength steadily increased. After 3 months, she once again advanced 1 level, reaching level 33. She was second only to Dai Mubai, who was level 38, and Tang San, whose frequency of diarrhea had decreased, and who had finally advanced 1 level through his own cultivation, reaching level 36. As for Oscar and Ma Hongjun, since obtaining his spirit ring, after half a year, Oscar's spirit power finally increased by 1 level, reaching level 32. Ma Hongjun, in the nearly 3 months since the fighting spirit fighting began, had not broken through to spirit elder and remained at level 29. However, his mentality had undergone a drastic change. Firstly, not long after Ning Chuan left, in order not to be ostracized, he directly defected to Tang San, who solved the side effects, and started calling him third brother. Then, under Yu Xiaogang and Flender's use of the original, We Are Monsters brainwashing education method, coupled with continuous victories in spirit fights in recent days, especially after defeating the Royal Fight team, he felt even more confident in himself. Now, Ma Hongjun and the other Shrek members subconsciously believed that while there might be spirit fighting teams that could defeat their Shrek team, they would definitely not be younger than them. They were no longer people, but monsters. And among them, the one with the biggest change in mentality was undoubtedly Tang San. If Ma Hongjun, Dai Mubai, and Oscar felt they were capable, again, Tang San felt invincible among those of the same realm. Twin spirits, mysterious heaven skill, hidden weapons, and his second spirit, which was enhanced with 2 strength type 1000-year spirit rings. He truly couldn't think of anyone in the same realm who could defeat him, not even Ning Chuan. Powerful strength gave Tang San enough confidence. Now, he walked with much greater presence than before, and subtly, even his back no longer seemed so hunched. Stop, who are you? Just as the Shrek people were marveling at the beauty of Heaven Do Royal Academy, he arrived. Our Prince Shui Beng arrived, leading a group of Heaven Do Royal Academy students and lackeys, coming aggressively. Flender directly said, "We are from Shrek Academy, and we are here to exchange with your Heaven Do Royal Academy. Please take us to see your education committee. You bumpkins, coming to our academy for an exchange, and you even want to see our committee members. Don't you look at yourselves. Get out, get out. If you don't leave, I'll have someone throw you out." Shui Beng sized up the Shrek people. Perhaps he was pretending to be a profligate to avoid being targeted by Qian Runshui, or perhaps he was simply enjoying it. As soon as he appeared, Shui Beng started verbally assaulting the Shrek people. After saying all this, Shui Beng still seemed unsatisfied, and looked at Dai Mubai, who was glaring at him. "What are you staring at? I'm talking about you. Look at how effeminate you are. You must be an eunuch, right? Ah, ha ha ha." At these words, all the sycophants who followed Shui Beng burst into laughter. Could Dai Mubai tolerate this? With just a flash of his figure, he appeared in front of Shui Beng, his back to the Shrek people, and a sinister aura instantly erupted. Ever since he was castrated, the words, eunuch, had become his taboo. His temper was already extremely bad, and after the double blow of being castrated and cheated on, as long as he saw someone he disliked, if the other party wasn't stronger than him, even a dog on the roadside would get a slap. As for those who called him an eunuch, there was even less to say. Along the way, he had crippled the lower bodies of many people who called him an eunuch. Bang, Dai Mubai's kick hit the bullseye, landing squarely on Shui Beng's lower body. Immediately after, everyone seemed to hear the sound of eggs cracking. Shui Beng let out a tragic, "ah," and fell to the ground, clutching his lower body with both hands, writhing in excruciating pain. The sudden scene caught Shui Beng's lackeys off guard. One by one, they were all flustered. But how could Dai Mubai let them off so easily? With his 2 yellow and 1 purple spirit rings activated, he instantly completed his spirit possession and was about to cripple their lower bodies, making them like himself. Flender, however, frowned. "Mubai, be careful with your actions." He wasn't concerned about the lives of these Heaven Do students, but rather wary of their identities and backgrounds. It was fine to beat them up like this, but if he crippled theory stuff, it wouldn't be so easy to resolve. Upon hearing this, Dai Mubai refrained from attacking their lower bodies, but he beat them even harder. He almost beat them senseless. It wasn't until Sun Buyu appeared that Dai Mubai stopped, and along with the other Shrek people, followed Sun Buyu into the academy. Chapter 97 Ning Chuan, don't be afraid, Xiao Wu is me. After the Shrek group left, Shui Beng, supported by his lackeys, barely managed to steady himself. At this moment, he only felt an intense, burning pain in his lower regions. Without a doubt, it was swollen and possibly even bleeding internally. With venom in his eyes, he said, "Shrek, a good Shrek. How dare you humiliate me like this? Just wait, this prince will not let this slide." After speaking, Shui Beng led his lackeys out of the academy. Just then, Ning Chuan returned to the academy and happened to witness this scene. Shui Beng also saw Ning Chuan. Shui Beng naturally recognized this genius who had been recommended to enroll by his imperial brother and who had, upon arrival, defeated everyone in royal fight, including Yu Tianong. However, he didn't greet him, merely continued to play the part of a profligate, then covered his lower regions and left in a sorry state. Watching Shui Beng leave, Ning Chuan's face showed an expression of interest, and he secretly thought, have those Shrek people finally arrived? I just wonder who can help Shui Beng get his revenge after old poison dies. Before that, I'll just make Shui Beng a eunuch so he won't harm any more innocent women. Having made up his mind, Ning Chuan walked into a nearby public restroom in the academy, took out a bottle of Viagra, first tried to bind Tang Rishan, and after confirming that he was not nearby, he unhesitatingly bound Shui Beng. On the other side, Sun Buyu had already led the Shrek group to a reception room to rest, while he went to inform Qinming. Upon learning that the Shrek group had arrived, Qinming immediately rushed over. After a round of pleasantries, Flender asked with a smile, "How is it, Qinming? Have you made all the arrangements here?" Qinming quickly nodded, "Dean, don't worry, everything has been arranged. I've already spoken with the education committee, and they are all very welcoming of the teachers and junior students joining. With Ning Chuan and Tian Heng, I believe we will achieve remarkable results in the All-Continent Advanced Soul Master Academy Elite Tournament in just over a year." "Oh, it's good that you've arranged it." Flender nodded without thinking, then suddenly, his body stiffened, and his eyes clearly lit up. "What did you just say, Ning Chuan?" Qinming seriously repeated, "I said Ning Chuan is also here. Not only that, but junior students Ning Rongrong and Zhu Zuqing are also here." During the time Ning Chuan was away, Qinming had already confirmed that they were the 3 students who had left Shrek midway. Hearing this, Flender, Zhao Wuji, and the other Shrek teachers stared at Qinming with wide eyes. They clearly hadn't expected their most outstanding students from Shrek to return to Shrek one day. Yu Xiaogong's expression was very grim, because the more outstanding Ning Chuan was, the more it meant he himself was a failure. Both had innate half-level spirit power, and both studied spirit master theory. Ning Chuan, at only 12 years old, had broken through to Spirit Elder and possessed 2,000-year spirit rings by relying on his own research theories. In contrast, he had accomplished nothing and had nearly ruined his own disciple. The immense psychological gap and different fortunes caused a twisted jealousy and resentment to grow in his heart. Dai Mubai's wicked eyes, with their 2 pupils merging into one, revealed an unconcealed look of resentment. The adulterer and harlot are actually here, it truly is a narrow road for enemies. Ma Hongjun, the fatty, was conflicted, because during the time Ning Chuan was away, after witnessing Tang San's true strength in defeating the royal fight team, he had often badmouthed Ning Chuan in front of his third brother to curry favor with him. Oscar was overjoyed, as he hadn't expected to reunite with Ning Rongrong. Tang San's face, as dark as ink, showed a fighting spirit. He wished he could fight Ning Chuan right now and trample him underfoot. Xiao Wu was so excited she was almost crying tears of joy. If she hadn't considered Tang San and his father, she would have rushed to find him. Each person displayed their current mood with different actions, for only one reason: Ning Chuan was also here. Some rejoiced, others grieved. And if one were to ask who was happiest, besides Xiao Wu, it would be Flender. One must know that Ning Chuan's departure had bothered him for quite some time. Now, not only was Ning Chuan here, but Ning Rongrong and Zhu Zuqing, two excellent former Shrek students, were also with him. So where are they? Where are they? Why aren't they called over quickly? Flender asked impatiently. Qin Ming replied with a smile. Zuqing and Rongrong went with Tian Heng to Heaven Do City for a spirit fight and won't be back until evening. As for Ning Chuan, he went out for something. I'm afraid he won't be back for a while. Hearing this, although Flender felt a little regretful, he could barely accept it, as long as Ning Chuan could return to Shrek again. One must know that in his heart, for the All-Continent Advanced Soul Master Academy Elite Tournament in just over a year, the best lineup, whether it was Ning Chuan, Zhu Zuqing, or Ning Rongrong, none of them were dispensable. Next, Qin Ming prepared a very rich dinner to entertain them. At the dinner, it was easy to see that Xiao Wu's smile was much wider than before. It was as if she had returned to her innocent, carefree self. After the dinner ended, the Shrek group each returned to the rooms Qin Ming had arranged for them to cultivate. Xiao Wu also felt a bit tired, turned off the lights, and prepared to rest. She was looking forward to a good night's sleep. However, as soon as she turned off the light, a dark figure suddenly embraced her, and then her mouth was covered. Xiao Wu was startled and instinctively tried to resist, but then Ning Chuan's voice came to her ear. Don't be afraid, Xiao Wu, it's me. With just that one sentence, Xiao Wu stopped resisting completely. The anxiety and fear of the past few days all vanished. All that remained was her longing for Ning Chuan. Although her relationship with Ning Chuan was a secret romance, and Ning Chuan was forced to leave after only 3 months, his departure did not dilute their feelings. Instead, it made Xiao Wu cherish this relationship even more deeply. After all, how could she not love a man who, for her, directly confronted a titled Douluo, then left Shrek, and alone searched for the king of immortal herbs to conceal her spirit beast aura? Yes, in Xiao Wu's heart, what Qin Ming referred to as Ning Chuan going out for something was him searching for immortal herbs for her. Thus, after Ning Chuan slowly released her, Xiao Wu almost without hesitation turned and threw herself into his arms. Xiao Wu first felt a chill, but her heart was warm. All her longing turned into tears, pouring out. After a long while, her crying finally subsided, and only then did Xiao Wu clearly see Ning Chuan's appearance and the source of the chill. It turned out that at this moment, he was encased in a strange black armor that covered his entire body. Under the shroud of this black armor, she couldn't detect even the slightest spirit power fluctuation from him. Chapter 98. Tang San is outside the door. Little Six, why are you dressed like this? Xiao Wu asked, her voice still somewhat choked, her eyes red. Our relationship cannot be exposed for the time being. I can't just come here openly, can I? If you don't like it, I shall leave. As Ning Chuan said this, he turned around, making a gesture as if he were about to leave. Xiao Wu hurriedly stepped forward and hugged his waist from behind. I don't care, you must stay here and accompany me today. We haven't seen each other for several months. Alright, I won't tease you anymore, but I definitely cannot stay. Look, what is this? Ning Chuan raised his hand and summoned it. A strange flower rooted in a strange black stone appeared in his hand. Yearning Heartbroken Red. Xiao Wu's eyes instantly lit up. She had read the mysterious Heaven Treasure record and naturally recognized Yearning Heartbroken Red, but she never expected that Ning Chuan had actually found it for her. Little Six, you must have suffered a lot for this. Xiao Wu looked at Ning Chuan with heartache. In this instant, she imagined the scene of Ning Chuan enduring thousands of hardships just to find the Yearning Heartbroken Red for her. Alright, to avoid complications, hurry and acknowledge it as your master. You must know, the Heaven Do Royal Academy still has 3 Spirit Douluo committee members. Ning Chuan urged. Upon hearing this, Xiao Wu nodded heavily, closed her eyes, thought of Ning Chuan's figure in her mind, and then spat out a mouthful of heart blood. The Yearning Heartbroken Red, rooted on the black stone, fell silently and was caught by Xiao Wu. Look, Little Six, I succeeded. Xiao Wu said somewhat boastfully. Ning Chuan nodded gently, looking at the simple little rabbit in front of him. A rare trace of heartfelt tenderness appeared in his eyes for her. It was fortunate that the devouring gold bug's armor covered his face, otherwise, Xiao Wu would definitely have seen a scene she would never forget for the rest of her life. Yes, Ning Chuan was moved. Since coming to this world, in order to become stronger, he had always been calculating others through various means. And he never trusted anyone. Even Little Cat, to some extent, was obtained by him through calculating Dai Mubai. But only this little rabbit before him had been silently watching him and liking him from beginning to end, whether it was due to being love-struck or for other reasons. These were not important. What was important was that this was the first and only girl who had liked him without reservation from the very beginning. Seeing Ning Chuan suddenly fall silent, Xiao Wu thought she had made him life chi, so she asked cautiously, Little Six, what's wrong? Nothing, I just suddenly realized that I seem to have started to like you a little, Ning Chuan said. Xiao Wu gave a soft huff, pouting her lips, and said with dissatisfaction, HMPH, does that mean you didn't like me before? I did. Ning Chuan nodded and replied, while adding in his heart, it's just that before, what I liked were your spirit ring and spirit bone, only now have I started to like you as a person. Upon hearing this, Xiao Wu was finally satisfied and snuggled into Ning Chuan's arms. Just then, there was a knock on the door outside the room, and at the same time, Tang San's voice came, Xiao Wu, are you okay? Seeing that it was Tang San outside, a mischievous thought suddenly arose in Ning Chuan's heart. He removed the devouring gold bug's armor from his right hand and reached it inside Xiao Wu's upper garment collar. This was not the first time Ning Chuan had done this. Last time, he had even eaten the little steamed buns. However, Xiao Wu was still startled by Ning Chuan's sudden action, and she feigned calmness as she said to Tang San outside the door, I'm fine, what is it, black bro? Do you need something? Nothing, it's just that I seem to hear some movement in your room, so I came to check. It's good that you're okay, Tang San replied. Then you should rest early too, I'm going to sleep. Xiao Wu was becoming increasingly uncomfortable from Ning Chuan's actions, and even her voice began to tremble. This guy was about to start eating the steamed buns again. Tang San had never experienced relations between men and women, and although he felt Xiao Wu's voice was a bit strange, he didn't think too much about it. After a moment of silence, he said, Xiao Wu, what do you think about Ning Chuan? He and I have long had no relationship whatsoever. Xiao Wu answered without hesitation. She had already answered this question countless times. Xiao Wu, I believe you. Having received a satisfactory reply, Tang San left peacefully, but for some reason, he felt a strange heat throughout his body tonight, as if something bad was about to happen. And at this moment, Xiao Wu was already kneeling in front of Ning Chuan. Half an hour later, Ning Chuan left the room, feeling satisfied, leaving Xiao Wu alone in the bathroom to rinse her mouth. When Ning Chuan returned to his residence, Zhu Zuqing and Ning Rongrong, who had gone out for spirit fighting, had also returned. Because Ning Chuan had left a note during the day, the two of them already knew Ning Chuan had returned, so neither of them had returned to their rooms to cultivate. Seeing Ning Chuan return, the two immediately came up to meet him. Ning Rongrong said impatiently, You're finally back, take out the surprise you mentioned. Have you achieved a breakthrough? The speed of your spirit power increase seems to be faster than I expected. Ning Chuan activated his purple demon eye to scan the two of them and discovered that during his absence, the two girls' spirit power had increased by another level, reaching level 29 and level 28 respectively. Don't change the subject, hurry and take out the surprise you mentioned. Ning Rongrong stretched out her slender, fair, and delicate little hand. Oh, my legs seem a bit sore. Ning Chuan pulled little cat to sit on the sofa, lay down in her arms, and then stretched out his right leg. I'll massage them for you. Seeing this, Ning Rongrong immediately and obediently stepped forward to massage his legs. Here and here, use more strength, Ning Chuan commanded from time to time, bossing Ning Rongrong around, and in the end, he even made her pour him a cup of tea. If outsiders knew that the young miss of the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School would actually do these things for a man, they would probably be shocked to the point of dropping their jaws. But Zhu Zuqing was already accustomed to it. She just shifted her position slightly so that Ning Chuan could lean more comfortably. And as for Ning Rongrong, she was also accustomed to these things. She even enjoyed it a little. After finishing all this, Ning Rongrong stepped forward and asked with a smile, Now can you tell me what the surprise is? I'm back, isn't that a surprise? Ning Chuan said, teasing her. Ah, Ning Chuan, you bastard, I'm going to kill you. Realizing she had been tricked, Ning Rongrong immediately revealed her true nature, pouncing on him with claws bared. Immediately after, she was held back by the head by Ning Chuan, who had stood up, unable to touch him in the slightest. Well, Ning Rongrong had long known this would be the result, but she actually quite liked the feeling of having her head held by Ning Chuan. Alright, I won't tease you anymore. The surprise I mentioned is this. Ning Chuan took out the Narcissus Jade Muscle Bone and the Douluo Tulip. The moment they saw the immortal herb, both girls' eyes lit up. It was clear that they had both heard of the immortal herb from Ning Chuan, but knowing about it was one thing, and seeing it with their own eyes was another matter entirely. P.S. Thanks to Zhongpan Chu Feng Chi Bo Lan for the 10,000 plus Kidian coins tip. I was busy until very late today before I could write, vomiting blood. Chapter 99, Shui Beng becomes the second Dai Mubai. Ning Chuan, how did you find these two immortal herbs? Ning Rongrong asked excitedly. At this moment, if Zhu Zuqing were not here, Ning Rongrong would definitely have been unable to resist throwing herself into Ning Chuan's arms, standing on tiptoe, and planting a kiss on him. You have to know, these are immortal herbs. Consolidating one's foundation and nourishing the origin, being able to increase spirit power and talent, this is a temptation that almost no spirit master can refuse. It took quite a bit of effort. Ning Chuan did not say much more, and Ning Rongrong did not ask again. Looking at the two immortal herbs in front of her, whose scent made one feel refreshed and relaxed, Zhu Zuqing hesitated for a moment before suddenly asking, How about you and Rongrong refine these immortal herbs instead? Hearing this, Ning Rongrong only then noticed that there were only 2 immortal herbs, yet there were 3 of them. She quickly said, No, you two should absorb them. These immortal herbs were obtained by Ning Chuan after much hard work, and since you, Zuqing, are Ning Chuan's girlfriend, it is only right that you and Ning Chuan refine them. Alright, stop arguing, both of you. I have already prepared for myself. As Ning Chuan said this, he took out the Wangchuan Chushui Du from his Chenkin bag. Hearing this, the two women finally turned their gazes back to the Narcissus Jade Muscle Bone and the Douluo Tulip. Ning Rongrong asked, eager to try, then should we refine them now? No, if we refine them now, it is bound to arouse suspicion. Especially for you, Rongrong, if your spirit power were to suddenly increase so much, wouldn't that make your father and the others think that I gave you some drug with side effects? Ning Chuan remarked dryly. Then what do you mean? Zhu Zuqing asked with some hesitation. Ning Chuan said, let's leave the Heaven Do Royal Academy for now. It just so happens that I have a good place to go. We can refine the immortal herbs there. Afterward, we will change our names, go to various major cities in the Douluo continent to participate in spirit battles, and wait until the Soul Master competition begins. Even if we are 10 or so ranks higher in spirit power than we are now, it won't be so conspicuous. Zhu Zuqing was naturally compliant with everything Ning Chuan said. Wherever Ning Chuan went, she would follow. Ning Rongrong needed to notify her family, but considering that this would cause trouble for Ning Chuan, she decided to act first and report later. She would have someone send a letter back tomorrow, and then she would just leave with Ning Chuan. Also, because immortal herbs cannot be placed in ordinary spirit tool storage devices, Ning Chuan put the immortal herbs back into the Chenkin bag. He suddenly said, oh right, that group from Shrek has already arrived. Zhu Zuqing had no good feelings toward the group from Shrek. She frowned and asked, aren't they in Soto City? It seems they came for some so-called academic exchange. But to put it plainly, it is to merge into the Heaven Do Royal Academy. That way, they can participate in the All-Continent Advanced Soul Master Academy Elite Tournament in over a year, Ning Chuan said. Now that you mention it, I remember. Jin Ming seemed to have mentioned this matter before and even asked if we came from Shrek Academy. It's simply speechless. Regardless, I will never team up with that group from Shrek again. A piece of trash, a eunuch, a whoremonger, a loser, they should look at themselves to see what kind of things they are. Mentioning Shrek, Ning Rongrong was similarly filled with disgust, and she even grew to hate Qinming as well. Because she had already heard from Yi Lingling about the battle between Royal Fight and Shrek. Upon learning that Qinming had actually asked them to go easy on Shrek, she was instantly speechless. Did he not know that the outcome of a battle often hangs in the balance of a single thought? He made the Royal Fight team restrict themselves while fighting Shrek, only for them to end up being utterly defeated in return. What kind of teacher is he supposed to be? Is it just because he came from Shrek? He should look at his own situation. Despite having decent talent, because he enrolled in that Bush League academy called Shrek, he ended up not even having the best spirit ring configuration. Thinking of the ugly faces of those disgusting people from Shrek, especially that loser Oscar, who had ganged up with Dai Mubai and the others to ostracize her and then came over to pretend to be a good person and comfort her, if it hadn't been for Ning Chuan's reminder back then, she would most likely have fallen for it. No, she couldn't let that group from Shrek corrupt Lingling. These past few days, Ning Rongrong and Zhu Zuqing had been getting along well with Yi Lingling. Based on the principle of not letting Yi Lingling fall into the tiger's den, Ning Rongrong suggested, Ning Chuan, why don't we bring Lingling along too? Such a kind little girl must not be corrupted by those 4 disgusting guys. Zhu Zuqing had another consideration and said, I have already experienced Lingling's 9-heart begonia, its healing ability is rare in this world. If she is with us, we won't need to worry about whether we get injured while we cultivate. If she is willing, then let's bring her along. Ning Chuan nodded. With Yi Lingling's appearance and talent, she was already worth his investment. Anyway, he had plenty of immortal herbs in his hands, and he had already decided which immortal herb to give to Yi Lingling. That would be the fragrant Douluo immortal product. Once consumed, perhaps the 9-heart begonia could, on top of its ability to prevent death, add the function of restraining all toxins. But speaking of which, this group from Shrek has just arrived, and they did something incredible during the day. What happened? Ning Rongrong asked curiously. That scoundrel Dai Mubai castrated our Heaven Do Empire's 4th prince, Shui Bang. Once these words were spoken, both Ning Rongrong and Zhu Zuqing couldn't help but burst out laughing with a snort. Ning Rongrong gloated. After that lecherous tiger was castrated, he probably became psychologically twisted and started liking to castrate others. But he was unlucky to have castrated Shui Bang. Although Shui Bang is not as good as the crown prince, he is still the 4th prince of the Heaven Do Empire. He is going to be in big trouble now. Zhu Zuqing indifferently spat out 2 words, serves him right. Ning Chuan shook his head. I actually don't think so. Could the Heaven Do royal family be willing to swallow such a huge loss? Ning Rongrong asked, puzzled. Zhu Zuqing also showed a puzzled expression. Logically speaking, Dai Mubai was already crippled. If the Heaven Do royal family knew about Dai Mubai's situation, and given that he had crippled Shui Bang, they would most likely not treat Dai Mubai well. And on the Star Luo Emperor's side, Dai Yc would become the undisputed heir to the throne. 9 times out of 10, he would turn a blind eye to it. In the end, the only thing awaiting Dai Mubai would be the destined tragic ending. It's just that this ending has been advanced by a few years because he crippled Shui Bang. It's not that the Heaven Do royal family will swallow this huge loss, but that Shui Bang will have to swallow it. Once the news of him being crippled gets out, it means he has completely lost the possibility of succeeding to the throne. So this time, he has no choice but to swallow his teeth and bear it. There was one more thing Ning Chuan didn't say. Even if Shui Bang couldn't swallow this anger, his uncle, Prince Shui Xing, would make him swallow it. Originally, Shui Bang still had a chance to take revenge, but unfortunately, Douluo Bo had already been slaughtered by him. For a prince without power or influence like him, wanting to take revenge without relying on the Heaven Do royal family would almost become an extravagant hope. P.S. First update. Chapter 100 Kidnapping Yi Lingling. That evening, Zhu Zuqing and Ning Rongrong suppressed their urgent desire to refine the immortal herb and return to their respective rooms to cultivate. Ning Chuan, on the other hand, used this time to begin refining the immortal herb, looking through autumn water dew. After refining the looking through autumn water dew, Ning Chuan not only elevated his purple demon eye to the 2nd realm, in-depth observation, of the 4 realms, comprehension, in-depth observation, minute, and vastness, but also raised his mental force to the spirit saint level. Changing the subject, Shui Bang was in a terrible state. After being kicked by Dai Mubai, Shui Bang was initially a bit worried, but not long after leaving Heaven Do Royal Academy, he felt a surge of heat. Clinging to the slim hope that he was fine, and driven by desire, Shui Bang went to the club he frequented. This club was an asset under Prince Shui Xing's name, built specifically to help Shui Bang maintain his image as a dissolute noble. After all, pretending to be a dissolute noble is one thing, but enjoying it is another. Shui Bang highly valued his own life. He didn't want to follow in the footsteps of his 2nd and 3rd brothers someday. Upon entering the club, Shui Bang impatiently ordered the top courtesan, and then he spent the entire night doing big business. While injured from being kicked by Dai Mubai. Doing big business all night. The result was predictable. It directly exploded, splashing the courtesan with blood. By the time Prince Shui Xing received the news and arrived, Shui Bang had already fainted from the pain. Seeing Shui Bang, Prince Shui Xing felt dizzy and overwhelmed, his head aching. While having the healing system spirit master he brought treat Shui Bang, he cursed, who can tell me what exactly happened? You tell me. He turned his gaze to the top courtesan. Facing Prince Shui Xing's almost murderous gaze, the courtesan mistremblingly recounted what had happened. Upon learning that Shui Bang had exploded while doing big business, Prince Shui Xing immediately thought of Qian Runshui, who was disguised as Shui Qing, and a wary expression instantly appeared on his face. Alright, there's nothing more for you here. You can leave first. Prince Shui Xing waved his hand with a gloomy expression. After the courtesan left, he turned and gave a look to his accompanying guard. The guard understood and followed her. Regardless of whether this person was sent by Shui Qing or not, with such a major incident happening to Shui Bang, to keep it a secret, the person had to be controlled. If she was pregnant with Shui Bang's child, she could live a bit longer, if not, she would only be waiting for death. A moment later, the guard returned to report to Prince Shui Xing, and by then, Shui Bang had finally woken up under the spirit master's treatment. How is the situation? Prince Shuixing asked the healing system spirit master. The healing system spirit master respectfully replied, Your Highness, Prince Shuibeng only suffered from excessive blood loss. After treatment, he is now out of danger, but from now on. From now on, what? Prince Shuixing pressed sharply. Prince Shuibeng's bell has exploded. For the rest of his life, it is likely he will no longer be able to procreate. Boom. At these words, Prince Shuixing's entire face instantly turned incredibly ugly, because losing the ability to procreate meant Shuibeng had lost the possibility of succession. And once Shuiqing ascends the throne in the future, given the current almost irreconcilable animosity between the two, neither Shuibeng nor Prince Shuixing would have a place to be buried. No, this king absolutely cannot sit by and wait for death. Thinking this, he glared sharply at the healing system spirit master, threatening, All right, there's nothing more for you here, but you'd best keep this matter to yourself, otherwise you know the consequences. How would the healing system spirit master dare to disobey? He was cultivated by Prince Shuixing, had no offensive power himself, and his life was in Prince Shuixing's hands. Unless he wanted to die, he would not leak the information. After the healing system spirit master left, Prince Shuixing looked at Shuibeng, who was ashen-faced from hearing he could not procreate, and said with a tone of disappointment, I want you to tell me everything that happened today, from beginning to end. Shuibeng still held great reverence for this imperial uncle, and immediately recounted how he had encountered the Shrek group during the day and ended up being kicked in the lower regions by a sissy. Upon learning that this matter had nothing to do with Shuiqing, Prince Shuixing inexplicably breathed a sigh of relief, because if Shuiqing had known Shuibeng was castrated, he would definitely find a way to let Emperor Shui Yi know. This was the result he least wanted to see. On the contrary, now that Shuibeng was crippled, he could control him even better. One day in the future, when Shuibeng was placed on the throne, perhaps after Shuibeng's death, the throne could be passed to his descendants. When I was kicked, it swelled up there. At the time, I thought it was nothing, so I came over to try, and this is how it ended up. Imperial uncle, you must avenge me. Those Shrek people ruined me like this, I want them dead, I want them dead. Shuibeng cried with snot and tears. This was not an act, but a genuine reaction. Now he was no different from a eunuch, completely losing the possibility of succession, and all of this was caused by those Shrek people. Stop wailing. If you want the news of your thing being crippled to reach your imperial father's ears, then keep yelling. It'd be best if everyone in the whole city knew. Prince Shuixing said with a gloomy face. Hearing this, Shuibeng instantly shut his mouth, and then heard Prince Shuixing say, The most urgent task is to seal off the news. That woman just now, I have already arranged for her. Next, not only do I want you to come here every day to find women, I also want everyone in Heaven Do City to know that you are not crippled. But, are we just going to let those Shrek guys off so easily? Shuibeng said, extremely unwilling. How could there be such an easy thing in this world? I will now send people to find Sir Douluo, and make those commoners pay the price for what they did during the day, Prince Shuixing said sinisterly. The night passed without a word. The next morning, Little Cat and Ning Rongrong, after cultivating their purple demon eye, brought Yi Lingling along, and also brought breakfast. Lingling, is it okay if I call you that? Looking at the solitary young girl in front of him, Ning Chuan genuinely couldn't dislike her. Of course, you can. Yi Lingling replied. Although her voice was beautiful when she spoke, it was extremely hollow, giving a sense of unreality. Ning Chuan nodded and said, Alright, Lingling, Rongrong and Zuching must have already told you that we will temporarily leave Heaven Do Royal Academy for arduous training. We basically won't return before the All-Continent Advanced Soul Master Academy Elite Tournament begins. I need you to provide healing when we are injured. Of course, in return, I will also guide your cultivation. I won't say I'll give you offensive power, but gaining a certain level of self-preservation ability is no problem. Okay, Yi Lingling agreed immediately. This was also the main reason she agreed to Zhu Zuching and Ning Rongrong. Not only because she got along with them, but also because she saw various abilities on their bodies that did not belong to their spirit. For a support system spirit master, this was an irresistible temptation. P.S. Second update. Chapter 101 Goodbye Shrek. Half an hour later, the four finished breakfast and headed to the Heaven Do Royal Academy Committee. After all, they were leaving for quite some time, so they needed to report to the Education Committee. When they arrived, they happened to see the Shrek Academy group, who had also come to the Heaven Do Royal Academy to meet the Education Committee. Haha, Ning Chuan, Rongrong, and Zuching, we meet again. Regarding what happened last time, the dean made you suffer. On behalf of Shrek Academy, I apologize to you. How about it, do you want to come back? Seeing the three, Flender immediately came forward, and Zhao Wuji, Li Yusong, and other Shrek teachers also had smiles on their faces. Ning Chuan nodded slightly in acknowledgement but did not reply. Oscar also came forward, but he walked towards Ning Rongrong. Rongrong, long time no see. I didn't expect that we would meet again. It's truly fate. Scram. Ning Rongrong coldly uttered a single word, directly blocking Oscar's next words. Tang San, Dai Mubai, and Yu Xiaoging, one looked at Ning Chuan with eyes full of fighting spirit, one looked at Ning Chuan and Zuching with eyes full of resentment, and one looked at Ning Chuan with eyes filled with subtle envy and jealousy. Ma Hongjun seemed afraid that Ning Chuan knew he had spoken ill of him in front of Tang San, so he timidly hid behind Flender, not daring to speak. Little did he know, Xiao Wu had already told Ning Chuan, so Ning Chuan naturally wouldn't give him a good look. As for Xiao Wu, her gaze towards Ning Chuan was as doting as ever. From their reactions, it was not difficult to see the complex feelings of the Shrek Academy group upon seeing Ning Chuan again. Grandmaster Meng Shenji, the chief of the Heaven Do Royal Academy Committee, said somewhat unexpectedly, What, Dean Flender, you knew each other before? Flender laughed heartily, haha, to be honest, Ning Chuan, as well as Zuching and Ning Rongrong, these three little freaks, all came from our Shrek Academy. Upon hearing this, the Education Committee immediately became more interested in Shrek Academy. Bai Baoshan, the vice chief of the Heaven Do Royal Academy Committee, confirmed, Ning Chuan, is this true? Ning Chuan nodded, yes, I stayed at Shrek for 3 months. Ning Rongrong, unable to stand Flender's demeanor, added, then we found it too bad, so we left. As soon as these words fell, the Shrek Academy group fell into extreme embarrassment. At the crucial moment, Qin Ming took the initiative to change the subject. Ning Chuan, why are you here to see the education committee? Ning Chuan nodded. Yes, I plan to take Zuqing, Rongrong, and Yi Lingling to travel the continent for a while and return when the Soul Master competition is about to begin. Traveling so young, Yu Xiaogang expertly hid his jealousy and spoke what he considered to be good advice for them. Traveling is certainly a good thing. But you are still too young, and your cultivation is not enough. The dangers of the Spirit Master's world are beyond your imagination. I suggest it's not too late to travel after advancing to Spirit Ancestor, or even Spirit King. Then how did Grandmaster train back then, and how did he survive with a cultivation below Spirit Elder, and then earn the title of Golden Triangle? Ning Chuan asked back instead of answering. Yu Xiaogang really wanted to answer that he relied on wisdom, but after seeing Tang San nearby, he quickly shut his mouth. He could bet that if he dared to say that, Ning Chuan would definitely expose the fact that he taught Tang San the spirit side effects. At that time, he would lose all face in front of the Heaven Do Royal Academy's education committee. Since that's the case, then you must pay attention to safety when you are out and about. Bai Baoshan, however, was very confident in Ning Chuan. As the holder of the Heaven Star Furnace Spirit, he was well aware of how powerful Ning Chuan's green bamboo bee cloud sword spirit was. He was very clear. This was a spirit powerful enough to rival the 7-kill sword and the clear sky hammer, not to mention that Ning Chuan also possessed 2,000-year spirit rings, and his own strength far surpassed spirit masters of the same level. Not to mention a spirit ancestor, even a spirit king might not be able to defeat him, so he was very confident in Ning Chuan. With his decision, the other two committee members also did not object. Just as Ning Chuan and the others were about to leave, footsteps suddenly came from outside. Our Grandmaster Meng Shenji, Bai Baoshan, and Ji Lin, the education committee, here. Before the person arrived, their voice already came from outside. Although the person's voice was loud, there was a sense of urgency in their tone. The education committee were stunned. They naturally recognized this as Prince Shui Xing. While wondering why he had come, they also quickly stood up and went out to greet him. Soon, two people walked in from outside. One of them was Shui Qing, played by Qian Runshui, and the other was none other than Prince Shui Xing. The education committee were part of Crown Prince Shui Qinghei's faction, so they naturally knew that the two were at odds. For two people who were at odds to arrive at the same time, something significant must have happened. Your Royal Highness, and Prince Shui Xing, what happened? Grandmaster Meng Shenji asked. Qian Runshui spoke directly. The Heaven Do royal family's guest elder, Poison Douluo Sr., has gone missing. Missing. The education committee were all astonished. Not to mention them, even the Shrek Academy group, Yi Lingling, and even Zuqing and Ning Rongrong showed surprised expressions. One must know that this was a titled Douluo, so how could he disappear without a trace? He has indeed gone missing. This king used every means yesterday and could not contact Mr. Dugu. In the end, I even sent people to his residence to search, but no one responded. Is Mr. Dugu's granddaughter, Dugu Yan, here? See if she can contact him. Prince Shui Xing was anxious. One must know that Dugu Bo was not only the Heaven Do royal family's only titled Douluo guest elder but also his biggest backer. Now that his backer was gone, he was more anxious than anyone. Therefore, he immediately went to the palace to inform Shui Yi. Upon hearing the news, Shui Yi immediately had Shui Qing and Shui Xing come together to search. Ning Chuan chuckled inwardly upon hearing this. It would be a miracle if you could find old poison. He has already become nourishment for the evolution of the devouring gold bugs. Yi Lingling, standing beside Ning Chuan, replied, Yan Yan returned to find her grandfather a month ago. What exactly is going on? Shui Xing frowned. Ning Chuan took over the conversation. Let me explain. That day, after the royal fight group returned from their soul hunt, Zuqing, Ning Rongrong, the daughter of Sect Master Ning of the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School, and I were arranged into the Heaven Do Royal Academy and met Dugu Yan. Because Rongrong had previously seen Tang San of Shrek Academy, under the guidance of his teacher Yu Xiaogang, she absorbed 3 poison attribute spirit rings, which led to extremely severe spirit side effects, causing her to have diarrhea all day, which reminded her of Dugu Yan, who also had 3 poison attribute spirit rings attached. P.S. Third update. Finally finished. Normal update times will resume tomorrow. Chapter 102 Dugu Bo was killed by Tang Hao. Then I also took a look and found that Dugu Yan's hair color and pupils seemed a bit off, like symptoms of poisoning, so I mentioned it. Everyone suggested she go back to Poison Douluo Sr. to get a clear understanding, and after that, I never saw her again. We all thought Poison Douluo Sr. was helping her detoxify, but we didn't expect Poison Douluo Sr. to go missing. Ning Chuan's words were truly sincere and heartfelt. Look closely, if you didn't know, you'd think our Ning was incredibly concerned about Dugu Yan. However, these words undoubtedly plunged Yu Xiaogang into immense social embarrassment. Even Tang San's face twisted instantly. It was only because his face was dark enough that, in the backlight, it was difficult to see his features, otherwise, you would definitely see how terrible Tang San's expression was. Everyone, including the education committee, looked at Yu Xiaogang strangely, then turned to Tang San. Qian Runshui and Prince Shui Xing were no exception. Both had astonished expressions on their faces. Especially Prince Shui Xing, although he didn't know Yu Xiaogang and Tang San. But following everyone's gaze, he knew who they were. Prince Shui Xing snorted coldly. Grandmaster Meng Shenji, Bai Baoshan, Jilin, look at the kind of people you've recruited. Don't tell me you intend to let a swindler like this be a teacher at our Heaven Do Royal Academy. The education committee also didn't know how to answer, as they hadn't known about such a thing. As for Yu Xiaogang, the person involved, he lowered his head, wishing he could find a hole to crawl into. At this moment, Heaven knew how much he wanted to run away. At the same time, how much he wished someone would stand up for him, how much he wished Tang San would stand up and refute everyone, saying his theories were not wrong. Unfortunately, there was no one. First, Zhao Wuji and the other Shrek teachers had no good impression of this grandmaster, who had low cultivation, high ambitions but little ability, and was unlearned. Then there was Flender. He did want to stand up for Yu Xiaogang, but with the facts laid bare, he was powerless. As for Tang San, he hated Ning Chuan for exposing his shortcomings, but he hated Yu Xiaogang even more. At this moment, if he hadn't once taken Yu Xiaogang as his teacher, and if he wasn't a person who respected his teachers, Yu Xiaogang might have already found a way to die. Just then, Qian Runshui spoke. All right, Imperial Uncle, let's put these trivial matters aside for now. The urgent matter at hand is poison Douluo Senior's safety. Ning Chuan, are you saying that Mr. Dugu is very likely poisoned as well? To be honest, Qian Runshui was also curious about what happened to Dugu Bo, but if he died, it would be good, saving her the trouble of him constantly opposing Shuixing and her. If it were in the past, Prince Shuixing would certainly not mind using this as an excuse to drive away the Shrek people, but now the truly important matter was Dugu Bo, the whereabouts of the Heaven Do royal family's only titled Douluo guest elder. He snorted lightly, also looking at Ning Chuan, waiting for his reply. Ning Chuan said, if poison Douluo Senior Dugu Bo's hair color and eyes are as rumored, green, then it's almost certain. After all, this is a hair color and pupil color never seen on the continent. At the same time, Dugu Yan's pupils are also green, and her hair is dark purple, tending to turn green. If I'm not mistaken, poison Douluo Senior's original hair color shouldn't have been like this. If that's truly the case, then Dugu Yan is probably in grave danger, because once poison Douluo Senior's toxins erupt, not only Dugu Yan, but perhaps even an area of 1,000 meters will become barren land, perpetually enveloped by poisonous mist. Of course, all of this is just my speculation. It's also possible that poison Douluo Senior is fine and just took Dugu Yan out to search for a detoxification method. Can't you detoxify? Prince Shuixing looked at Ning Chuan and asked. Ning Chuan shook his head and said, I've only read a few more books, so I understand more about spirit and spirit rings than ordinary people. As for detoxification, I know nothing. Speaking of this, he seemed to think of something and looked at Tang San, saying, oh, right, I heard Dugu Yan say before that Tang San seemed to have broken her snake venom in Soto City. Tang San, did poison Douluo Senior look for you? I have never seen any Dugu Bo, Tang San replied indifferently. The Shrek people, however, grew suspicious, because they all knew Tang San had an extremely powerful father. If poison Douluo had attacked Tang San, while he was heavily poisoned, it was possible he could have been killed by Tang San's father. Ning Chuan gave Xiao Wu a look, and Xiao Wu instantly understood, saying in an extremely exaggerated tone, third brother, do you think it's possible your father did it? My father. Tang San's eyes showed surprise. Boy, who is your father? Shuixing seemed to grasp the key point. Xiao Wu answered for Tang San, my third brother is named Tang San, not some boy. His father's name is Tang Hao. How about that, scared now? At this moment, Xiao Wu seemed to return to her former fearless self, as if she feared nothing and loved to stir up trouble. Tang Hao, clear sky Douluo. The education committee exclaimed in unison. And indeed, if Dugu Bo had tried to attack Tang San, he really might have been killed by Tang Hao. After all, Tang Hao's past achievements were well known. He severely wounded the previous Supreme Pontiff, who later died of his injuries. He killed one and wounded another of the two Douluo who were the Supreme Pontiff's personal guards. And among these three, any one of them was stronger than Dugu Bo. Shui Xing's complexion, however, instantly turned particularly ugly. As for Qian Runshui, her eyes also narrowed slightly, looking thoughtful. Boy, is your father really Clear Sky Douluo? Shuixing questioned Tang San. If the other party was truly the son of Clear Sky Douluo, then he could only swallow his bitterness in silence. As for Dugu Bo, he was most likely gone. Tang San didn't know who Clear Sky Douluo was, but his father was indeed an extremely powerful spirit master. At this moment, Yu Xiaogang seemed to grasp at a lifeline to mend his mentorship with Tang San, actively stepping forward to answer for Tang San. That's right, little San is the son of Clear Sky Douluo. Teacher. Tang San looked at Yu Xiaogang in confusion. After several months, Yu Xiaogang heard Tang San call him teacher again and couldn't help but shed tears of old age. He said softly, I'll tell you about your father later, but little San's father is indeed Clear Sky Douluo. Flender can testify. The last sentence was directed at Shuixing. Hearing Yu Xiaogang call him, Flender also stepped forward and confirmed, that's right, Tang San's father is indeed Clear Sky Douluo. When Tang San first enrolled in Shrek, he privately sought me and Vice Dean Zhao Wuji. Upon hearing this, the Shrek people, and even Zuqing and Rongrong, finally recalled Zhao Wuji's miserable appearance back then. So, he was beaten by Tang San's father. And Shuixing, like a deflated ball, said nothing more, didn't even call Shuiqing, and turned to leave Heaven Do Royal Academy. P.S. First chapter, please give monthly votes. Chapter 103 Cultivating Relationships. Qian Runshui said, Education Committee, Ning Chuan, and everyone else, Brother Shui still needs to inform his father about this matter, so he will take his leave first. Farewell, Crown Prince. Everyone respected the Crown Prince, even the Shrek members were no exception. After all, from the moment he entered, he had been humble and polite, unlike Shuixing, who was aggressive. Ning Chuan and his three companions followed Qian Runshui. Ning Chuan walked side by side with him. Qian Runshui said with some surprise, What, Ning Chuan, are you planning to go out? Ning Chuan nodded and said, Yes, the Heaven Do Royal Academy's curriculum is no longer very useful to me. I plan to go out and gain some experience for a while and return when the Soul Master competition is about to begin. Zuqing, Rongrong, and Lingling also have this intention. Oh, so that's how it is. Then Ning Chuan, you are indeed quite lucky with women. Qian Runshui glanced at Zhu Zuqing and the other two, then looked at Ning Chuan with a half smile, appearing admiring and envious on the surface, but inwardly cursing him endlessly. He truly is a playboy. First, there was this young girl from the Zhu family of the Star Luo Empire, then Ning Rongrong from the Seven Treasure Glazed Tile School, and now he's even hooked up with Yi Lingling, the successor of the Nine Heart Begonia. Crown Prince, you exaggerate. I only have Zuqing as a girlfriend. Lingling and Rongrong are only coming along because they are friends with Zuqing, Ning Chuan said. Liar. Qian Runshui muttered inwardly, but on the surface, he remained calm, still maintaining his humble and gentlemanly demeanor, and said gently, Ning Chuan, how many times have I told you, there's no need to call me Crown Prince. We can just call each other brothers. That's what I was waiting for. Ning Chuan's lips curved into a smile, and he directly put his arm around Qian Renzu's shoulder. He clearly felt Qian Renzu's body stiffen for a moment, then instantly relax again. Ning Chuan acted as if he hadn't noticed, and said casually, I almost forgot, that's really a sin. Sorry, brother Shui, among us good brothers, we always put our arms around each other's shoulders. You don't mind, do you? Of course, Qian Renshui still maintained that gentle smile, but inwardly, he was gritting his teeth in anger. This scoundrel, the last time was bad enough, but this time he dared to take advantage of her again. He truly doesn't know how to write the word, death. Never mind, I've endured so many years of hardship. It's more important to first clarify Du Gubo's matter. After that, I'll spread the news that Du Gubo was killed by Tang Hao. That way, I'll kill two birds with one stone. Of course, even if it wasn't Tang Hao who killed him, Qian Renshui would make it seem like Tang Hao did. As for Ning Chuan, she would beat him to death sooner or later. For repeatedly taking advantage of her. Ning Chuan didn't know what Qian Renshui was thinking, and even if he did, he wouldn't care, because he was sure that the other party would endure it. Just like that, the two walked arm in arm, like good brothers, and left Heaven Do Royal Academy together. This caused the people of Heaven Do Royal Academy to turn their heads and stop to watch. One called him Brother Shui, and the other called him Ning Chuan. During this time, Ning Chuan also intentionally or unintentionally brought up the matter of Shui Beng being kicked in the crotch by Dai Mubai yesterday. Qian Renshui listened and seemed to be deep in thought. Before long, rumors spread throughout Heaven Do Royal Academy that Ning Chuan and Crown Prince Shui Qing were good brothers, and that Du Gubo had tried to attack Tang San and was killed by Tang Hao. Of course, these all happened after Ning Chuan left. Heaven Do Royal Academy is located in the north-central part of the Heaven Do Empire, only about 20 li from Heaven Do City. However, it is quite far from Nuoding City. There are more than a dozen cities in between, 7 of which are major cities with a Soul Master competition arena. Ning Chuan was in a hurry to travel. Although he had already decided to give Yi Lingling an immortal herb, cultivating a relationship with Yi Lingling was definitely essential. Killing two birds with one stone, after all. So, almost every time they arrived at a major city, Ning Chuan would take the 3 girls to the Soul Master competition. Ning Chuan and Yi Lingling formed the Chuan Ling team, while Zhu Zuqing and Ning Rongrong formed the Cat Tower team, each participating in 2-on-2 Soul Master competition. Then Zhu Zuqing and Ning Chuan would also have an additional 1-on-1 Soul Master competition. They stayed in each city for 3 days. They cultivated during the day and participated in Soul Master competition at night. In this way, what should have been a journey of only about 10 days took Ning Chuan and his group more than a month to finally arrive. Ning Chuan had originally thought that Yi Lingling would not be able to persevere, but in terms of stubbornness, she was no less than Little Cat. Even if she couldn't keep up, she would grit her teeth and follow. And Ning Chuan would also give her comfort and encouragement, just as he had done with Ning Rongrong before. The benefit of this was that Yi Lingling completely integrated into Ning Chuan's group. Whenever Zhu Zuqing and Ning Rongrong were injured from Soul Master competition or cultivation, Yi Lingling would help with the treatment. And Ning Chuan would sometimes intentionally get injured, not binding the big scapegoat to transfer the side effects, and let Yi Lingling treat him. Then he would generously teach her Ghost Shadow Perplexing Track, Purple Demon Eye, and Controlling Crane Catching Dragon. In this way, the 4 of them ate together, lived together, and cultivated together every day. Aside from not sleeping in the same bed, they were together almost all the time. After more than a month, even Yi Lingling, this ice mountain, was influenced by Ning Chuan. She gradually melted. And at this time, the 4 of them finally arrived at Nuoding City. More than half a year later, Ning Chuan returned to Nuoding City, and everything around him felt so familiar. And his spirit power had increased from level 33 when he left to level 36, not far from level 37. But he still missed everything around him immensely. After all, it was the place where he had lived for 6 years. Not just the environment, but also the teacher who was best to him and had the greatest influence on him. All along, Ning Chuan had viewed everything in the Douluo continent from a god's perspective. It was Louise's selfless love for him that filled the void in his heart, allowing him to integrate into this world and become a part of it. Ning Chuan led Zhu Zuqing, Yi Lingling, and Ning Rongrong into the city. The 4 of them were all handsome men and beautiful women, which immediately attracted a lot of attention. Ning Chuan finally stopped walking when they reached the entrance of Nuoding Academy. The doorman obviously recognized Ning Chuan, after all, he was head teacher Louise's disciple. No, he should be called Vice Principal Louise now. It is rumored that the principal intends to hand over the position of principal to Louise after his retirement. Therefore, the 4 of them entered Nuoding Academy with almost no obstruction. And once inside Nuoding Academy, even more people recognized Ning Chuan, especially the teachers. Ning Chuan had practically sparred with every one of them, so the impression was unforgettable. While looking around at everything, Zhu Zuqing asked curiously, Ning Chuan, is this where you grew up? Yes, I'll take you to see my teacher first. Zhu Zuqing hummed softly. After all, it was her first time meeting the family, so she couldn't help but feel a little nervous and anxious. Ning Rongrong and Yi Lingling, on the other hand, were full of curiosity about Ning Chuan's teacher. What kind of grandmaster could possibly teach such an excellent student like Ning Chuan? A moment later, Ning Chuan arrived at the head teacher's office. Learning that Louise had already been promoted to vice principal, he then took the 3 girls to the vice principal's office, where they finally met Louise. Chapter 104 Goodbye Louise. She wore a dark red female spirit master suit, with her hair neatly tied up in a bun. Her delicate face had a suitable light makeup. Her slender calves peeked out slightly from under her skirt, revealing small, delicate feet that could be held in one hand. And most importantly, there was the proud chest that was even fuller and more magnificent than Little Cat's. The moment they saw Louise, Little Cat, Ning Rongrong, and Yi Lingling were all stunned. No one had expected that Ning Chuan's teacher would be such a sexy and mature beauty. Teacher. Seeing Louise again, Ning Chuan felt an impulse to pounce on her and ravage her. Although this impulse was not new, it was stronger than ever this time. Fortunately, he held back and called out softly. Hearing his familiar voice, Louise immediately rose in pleasant surprise to greet him, exclaiming, Xiaochuan, didn't you go to that Shrek Academy? Why do you have time to come over? And you even brought back a few little wives. As she spoke, Louise meaningfully looked at Zhu Zuqing, Ning Rongrong, and Yi Lingling. Upon hearing this, Yi Lingling was fine, but Zhu Zuqing and Ning Rongrong immediately blushed. Ning Chuan smiled and explained, I don't have such great ability. This is Yi Lingling, the successor of the 9-heart begonia family. This is Ning Rongrong, the young miss of the 7 treasure glazed tile school. This is Zhu Zuqing, and she is also my girlfriend. Lingling and Rongrong are both my friends. This time, they came with me. After listening to Ning Chuan's words, Louise couldn't help but be a little surprised. Given her age, it was not difficult for her to see that Ning Rongrong had a certain affection for Ning Chuan. There was even less need to mention the young girl named Zhu Zuqing. She just didn't expect that their backgrounds were bigger than the last, and that even the 9-heart begonia and 7 treasure glazed tile pagoda had appeared. Ning Chuan continued to introduce, Zuqing, Rongrong, Lingling, let me introduce you. This is my teacher, Louise. Hello, Senior Louise. Upon hearing this, the 3 girls, Zhu Zuqing, rushed forward to greet her and bowed. Louise smiled and said, I'm not a senior at all, just an ordinary teacher at a junior spirit master academy with mediocre talent. In the future, you can just call me Big Sister. When this guy Xiaochuan first met me, that's what he called me. And don't let his proper appearance fool you, when we first met, he was only 6 years old but already dared to touch a girl's bottom. Yes, after becoming a disciple, Ning Chuan spent some time with Louise and, realizing that she genuinely cared for him, he voluntarily admitted his mistake and confessed to touching her bottom back then. Although Louise didn't blame him, she would occasionally bring it up to tease him. Hearing this, the 3 girls looked at Ning Chuan with surprise, never expecting that Ning Chuan, who was almost perfect in their eyes, would have such a side. Cough. Ning Chuan awkwardly cleared his throat and changed the subject. Teacher, please quickly arrange a quiet place for us, preferably somewhere we can seclude ourselves without disturbance. I came here this time because I have something to give you. Louise said, it's inconvenient with people coming and going at Nuoding City Academy. Let's go to our family instead. My father hasn't seen you for a while. The last time I went home, he was mentioning you. That's perfect, I also have a gift to give him. Ning Chuan smiled. It was time for him to repay the Dark Fragrance Sword family, who had cultivated him so well. The secluded location of the Dark Fragrance Sword family was on a myriad blade peak behind a village about 300 li south of Nuoding City. It was very secretive, and few people usually went there. Even fewer knew about it. In the evening, the 3 successfully arrived. They used a special hanging basket to ascend to the summit of Myriad Blade Peak. Led by Ning Chuan, Zhu Zuqing, Ning Rongrong, and Yi Lingling arrived at Louise's residence. Louise went to inform her father. It wasn't long before Louise's father, who had learned of Ning Chuan's return, rushed over. Before he even arrived, his voice could be heard from afar. Ning Chuan, you're finally back. Come, let this old man test if your swordsmanship has regressed. Louise's father's name was Lu Jiansheng. At first glance, this name sounded like a very proper, scholarly person. In reality, it was quite the opposite. He was just a rather uninhibited old man. Over 80 years old, perhaps due to his potential being exhausted, his spirit power had been stuck at 89th rank for 7 or 8 years without any signs of improvement. Without any surprises, he would, like Louise's deceased grandfather, be stuck at 89th rank, unable to advance an inch. Louise reminded him, Father, we have guests. As she spoke, Louise introduced Zhu Zuqing and the other 2 to her father. Upon learning that Ning Chuan had a girlfriend, the old man immediately showed a dejected expression. He could tell that his daughter had different feelings for this disciple, and he had been thinking of having Ning Chuan as his son-in-law when he grew up. Now it seemed that this was destined to be unrealizable. However, he was only dejected for a moment before he immediately recovered his spirits. He put his arm around Ning Chuan's shoulder and said, My precious daughter told me that you brought me a gift and can help me break through my bottleneck. Hurry up and take it out. Ning Chuan smiled faintly. Under the curious gaze of everyone, he reached into his Chenkin bag at his waist and took out the 9-petal purple Ganoderma. What is this? Ganoderma lucidum, Lu Jiansheng asked with some surprise. Ning Chuan explained, this is an immortal herb called 9-petal purple Ganoderma. I won't go into too much detail about its specific effects. You just need to know that it can help you strengthen your foundation and provide an opportunity to break through the 90th rank bottleneck. Can this really help me break through to the 90th rank? Lu Jiansheng's emotions immediately became extremely agitated. It was no wonder he was so emotional. The Dark Fragrance Sword family, almost 9 out of 10 generations of patriarchs, were stuck at the 80-something rank and could not advance. Very few could reach the 89th rank, let alone break through to the 90th rank. And once one breaks through to the 90th rank, it is not just about becoming a titled Douluo revered by thousands. It also greatly increases one's lifespan. Thus, one would not die of old age after 100 years due to exhaustion of lifespan. If it were just a spirit Douluo who had just broken through to the 89th rank, it would certainly be a bit less effective, but Senior Lu, you have been stuck at the 89th rank for 7 or 8 years. With 7 or 8 years of accumulation, plus the 9-petal purple Ganoderma, there should be great hope of breaking through the 90th rank bottleneck. Ning Chuan did not make his words too absolute. Upon hearing this, Lu Jiansheng carefully took the 9-petal purple Ganoderma that Ning Chuan handed to him and looked deeply at Ning Chuan. Ning, a great kindness needs no words of thanks. No matter the outcome, you are my benefactor, Lu Jiansheng. Ning Chuan said, please don't say that. Without the cultivation of my teacher and senior, I wouldn't be where I am today. Lu Jiansheng said no more. After asking about the method of consumption, he plucked the Ganoderma, swallowed it whole, and immediately went to a corner to begin refining it. Ever since breaking through to the 89th rank, the 90th rank bottleneck had been troubling him. He had even reached the point of almost giving up. Now that he had an opportunity to break through, he couldn't wait to start. And since this was the core area of the Dark Fragrance Sword family, he wasn't worried about being disturbed. Teacher, this is for you. Ning Chuan took out the 10,000-year Ginseng King. P.S. Third update. Chapter 105, Distributing the Immortal Herb. Looking at the bright immortal herb in front of her, Louise didn't take it. Instead, she asked a question similar to Zhu Zuqing's earlier, if you give it to me, what about you and Zuqing? I already consumed mine a long time ago. As for Zuqing and the others, I've already prepared for them. This 10,000-year ginseng king is specifically for you, teacher. Your talent isn't the best, but with this 10,000-year ginseng king, your cultivation will surely be smooth sailing from now on. Even becoming a titled Douluo in the future shouldn't be a problem. Besides, teacher, you wouldn't want your disciple to become a revered titled Douluo while you're already old and frail, would you? Although Ning Chuan was teasing, his gaze towards Louise was full of deep affection. Bah, you little rascal, you really can't say anything nice. Louise's eyes reddened. She playfully took the 10,000-year ginseng king and turned to walk towards another corner. As she turned, tears fell. She knew her talent very well. More than 5.5 years had passed since she first helped Ning Chuan hunt for his spirit ring. Ning Chuan had already grown into a spirit ancestor. However, she had only broken through to spirit ancestor 3 years ago, and her current spirit power was level 45. Although it surpassed the Nodding Academy Dean, without any unexpected events, Spirit Saint would be her limit in the future. Becoming a spirit Douluo was almost impossible. Now that Ning Chuan had given her the hope of advancing to title Douluo, she was naturally moved beyond words. Zuqing, this Narcissus Jade Muscle Bone is for you. Rongrong, this Kiluo Tulip is for you. After Louise consumed the 10,000-year ginseng king according to Ning Chuan's instructions and entered a refining state, Ning Chuan gave the Narcissus Jade Muscle Bone and Kiluo Tulip to Zhu Zuqing and Ning Rongrong. The two girls were already eager. They impatiently found a spot and began refining them according to the consumption method Ning Chuan had told them before. Finally, Ning Chuan looked at Yi Lingling. Lingling, this is for you. As he spoke, he took out the mysterious fragrant Kiluo immortal product. I get one too. Looking at the immortal herb emitting a strange aura, Yi Lingling was very surprised. Yes, we're companions, aren't we? Ning Chuan once again played the emotional card with Yi Lingling. Yi Lingling fell into a brief silence upon hearing this. To be fair, the reason she was willing to come out with Ning Rongrong and Zhu Zuqing was not only because they were friends, but more importantly, because Ning Chuan could help her become stronger. In fact, Ning Chuan had done so, teaching her that extremely peculiar footwork, a method to improve mental force through eye training, and a grappling technique that gave her some offensive capability. Now Ning Chuan was giving her an immortal herb. Although she had never heard of immortal herbs before, their value was immeasurable if they could allow an 89th level spirit Douluo, who had been stuck at a bottleneck for many years, to have the possibility of breaking through to title Douluo, and allow a 30-something spirit ancestor with mediocre talent to have the possibility of breaking through to title Douluo. We are indeed companions. But this immortal herb is so precious, is it really okay to give it to me? Yi Lingling nodded slightly, but she was still a bit hesitant. Of course, I also have a bit of selfishness, Ning Chuan said seriously. Yi Lingling was stunned. What selfishness? Well, you see, your 9-heart begonia's healing ability is so strong. With it, Zuqing and I can almost fearlessly develop our spirit abilities and undergo various high-intensity training without causing harm to ourselves, which could affect our future achievements. Also, no matter what, you're a great beauty. As the saying goes, everyone loves beauty. Perhaps after refining this immortal herb, your spirit will undergo some positive changes, thereby resolving some kind of restriction. I once heard a story, if a man has shown kindness to a woman, if he's ugly, she should repay him by being a cow or horse in her next life. If he's handsome, she should offer herself to him. As for my appearance, I'm quite confident. Ning Chuan stated his purpose frankly in a joking tone. In reality, it wasn't just Yi Lingling and the Crown Prince of Heaven Do City, he had long had his eye on Ning Rongrong, and even his teacher, Louise. However, opening a harem had to be done gradually. He couldn't be too hasty, or it would easily cause trouble in the backyard. After listening to Ning Chuan's words, Yi Lingling thought Ning Chuan was joking. Her originally aloof and beautiful face could no longer maintain its composure. With a chuckle, she couldn't help but laugh. She also joked in Ning Chuan's tone, alright, if this immortal herb can solve my spirit's problem, then I'll offer myself to you. The biggest problem with Yi Lingling's spirit was nothing else but the curse from her spirit. Each generation of 9-heart begonia could only have one inheritor, and only 2 9-heart begonia spirit masters could be alive at the same time. Only when one died could another descendant potentially appear. In other words, the moment she awakened her 9-heart begonia, it meant that one of her direct elders had already passed away. This person could have been her mother-father or her grandmother-grandfather. This was also the reason for her aloof personality. Alright, quickly consume it. I'll guard you all. Ning Chuan handed her the mysterious fragrant Kiluo immortal product. Yi Lingling carefully took it without saying much, but she didn't have much expectation in her heart. Of course, if this immortal herb could truly solve her problem, she would keep her promise. In the small wooden house, Ning Chuan was the only one awake at this moment. He wasn't cultivating, he just stood quietly at the entrance of Louise's room, guarding everyone. Time passed by minute by minute. In a flash, 3 hours had passed. As the immortal herbs took effect, everyone's bodies gradually began to change. First was Lu Zhansheng. His aura became increasingly profound, already showing faint signs of breaking through to level 90. However, this was bound to be a long process, perhaps a few days, or 10 days to half a month. After all, without a 100,000-year spirit beast sacrifice and the cheat of a divine trial, it was extremely difficult for a spirit master to break through to level 90. Even with the aid of an immortal herb, it would still take a considerable amount of time. Then there were Zhu Zuqing and Ning Rongrong. One of them was covered in a faint jade color, and her entire body, from its original cross-legged position, involuntarily stood up. Her hands were clasped in front of her chest, in a prayer-like posture, head bowed, quietly absorbing the medicinal power. The other was enveloped in golden light, and the golden light carried a rich tulip fragrance, making her look like a fairy descended from heaven. Finally, Louise and Yi Lingling. They sat quietly, with faint mists emanating from their bodies, swirling and fluctuating around them. The slight difference was that the mist around one was pink, and the other was brilliant gold. P.S. First update, thanks to Xiao Chanu for the 5,000 Kidian coins reward. Chapter 106. I accidentally took Ning Rongrong away. The sun rose from the east and set in the west. Louise was the first to wake up because she had taken the 10,000-year ginseng king, which had a milder medicinal effect. Perhaps it was because she felt too comfortable, she subconsciously stretched her body, and her charming curves made Ning Chuan swallow his saliva. Louise noticed Ning Chuan's gaffe, but instead of being disgusted, she winked at him, making Ning Chuan want to hug her and take her to a secluded corner for a passionate encounter. If there weren't age restrictions, Ning Chuan would have definitely done so. Finally, he suppressed the throbbing in his heart and whispered, "You vixen." In a voice only Louise could hear. Louise was not ashamed but proud. Just as Louise was about to cast aside worldly prejudices and embrace Ning Chuan to make him submit, Ning Rongrong's voice came from the side. "Ning Chuan, I've broken through to level 30. It's incredible. This Douluo tulip actually allowed me to skip level 29 and break directly from level 28 to level 30. The golden light on her body had completely receded, but she still carried a rich fragrance of tulips. Ning Chuan smiled and said, "The medicinal effect of the Douluo tulip is more than that. If you attach your third spirit ring now, your spirit power could increase by another 5 or 6 levels on top of the base gain from the spirit ring. After all, the earlier one takes this immortal herb, the better." Louise's age and cultivation were already quite high when she took the immortal herb, so her improvement was relatively smaller. In contrast, Ning Rongrong took it almost half a year earlier than in the original work, and she had not yet broken through to Spirit Elder, so it was natural for her to improve by 1 or 2 more levels than in the original work. "Does that mean my spirit power can catch up to yours very soon?" Ning Rongrong became even more excited upon hearing this. Then she looked at Louise. "Sister Louise, how many levels did you improve?" Louise estimated, "About 4 levels. I am now level 49. "Then Sister Louise, you should be close to breaking through to Spirit King. A Spirit King in her early 30s is considered an amazing genius." Ning Rongrong was genuinely happy for Louise. Ning Chuan added, "Not a should be close, but is already close." As he spoke, Ning Chuan took out the Medusa head spirit bone he had obtained from old poison. Spirit bone. Louise and Ning Rongrong's eyes clearly lit up. "Shish, keep your voice down." Ning Chuan walked up to Louise, handed her the spirit bone, and said, "Teacher, this head spirit bone, with a lifespan of about 60,000 years, possesses an extremely rare petrification ability. Because it is not a wisdom skull, it will not enhance your mental force, but it can increase your spirit power. With it, plus the medicinal power of the 10,000-year ginseng king remaining in your body, breaking through the 50th level bottleneck should not be a problem. Please don't think of refusing again. What your disciple needs in the future is a wisdom skull, and it must be one that starts at 100,000 years." Since Ning Chuan had said all that, Louise naturally would not refuse anymore, nor did she ask where he got the spirit bone. Her heart had already melted, and her gaze towards Ning Chuan gradually became doting. It was only because Ning Chuan's figure blocked Ning Rongrong's view, otherwise, Ning Rongrong would have definitely noticed something fishy. After Louise sat down again to absorb the spirit bone, Ning Chuan turned his head and saw Ning Rongrong looking at him with envy and admiration. "Ning Chuan, you are so good to your teacher. You even gave away a 60,000-year head spirit bone just like that. Am I not good to you? Why don't you quickly summon your spirit and see for yourself?" Ning Chuan said. Upon hearing this, Ning Rongrong, though puzzled, still summoned her spirit. However, what she saw startled her greatly. Her 7-treasure glazed tile pagoda spirit, on top of its original 7 layers, had an additional circle of tulip petal-like golden light at the bottom, and within this golden light, there were 2 distinct layers. Inside, they emitted different lights from the previous 7 layers. 9 layers, 9 colors. This is the 9-treasure glazed tile pagoda. A surge of hot blood instantly rushed to Ning Rongrong's heart. At this moment, her voice became hoarse. The 7-treasure glazed tile pagoda turning into the 9-treasure glazed tile pagoda, she knew what this meant. It meant that she would no longer be restricted by her spirit and would have the potential to impact titled Douluo. No, to be precise, even Louise, whose talent was much inferior to hers, had the possibility of impacting titled Douluo after taking the immortal herb. To some extent, as long as she cultivated step by step, impacting titled Douluo was almost a certainty. After a brief moment of excitement, Ning Rongrong's gaze towards Ning Chuan was no longer calm. She already had a good impression of Ning Chuan, and now he had helped her upgrade to the 9-treasure glazed tile pagoda. She could no longer suppress the little thoughts deep in her heart and unhesitatingly pounced on him, giving Ning Chuan a big hug, wrapping her arms around his neck, and kissing him hard on the mouth. She thought Ning Chuan would resist, but Ning Chuan was enjoying it and even stuck out his tongue at her. Ning Rongrong's cheeks flushed, and she clumsily reciprocated. In a short while, she was already panting and leaning in Ning Chuan's arms. "I thought you would refuse." Ning Rongrong looked up, blinked her eyes, and revealed a rosy, pretty face. "Didn't I say before, there aren't many men who can refuse a little beauty like you, and I am naturally no exception," Ning Chuan said with a smile. "Then aren't you afraid Zuching will get angry?" Ning Rongrong asked somewhat nervously. Ning Chuan said, "Zuching doesn't dislike me finding other women, she dislikes me finding unclean women. And do you truly believe Zuching hasn't noticed your little thoughts at all? Why don't I know about this?" Just then, Zuching's voice happened to sound. She walked towards the two with a frosty face and a dangerous expression. "Zuching, I." Ning Rongrong was so scared that she quickly let go of Ning Chuan's neck, her gaze darting away, looking like someone caught in the act of stealing, not daring to look at the other person. Zuching sighed. In fact, she had long anticipated this situation. After all, she wasn't blind. Since she could tell Xiao Wu liked Ning Chuan back then, she could naturally also tell Ning Rongrong's little thoughts. It was only out of their friendship and a bit of luck that she hadn't exposed it. Now, Ning Rongrong herself had torn through the paper, and Ning Chuan didn't dislike Ning Rongrong, so she could only reluctantly accept it. At the same time, it was fortunate that Ning Rongrong was not an improper woman, otherwise, she would never have agreed. Finally, Zuching glared fiercely at Ning Chuan and uttered 4 words, "Don't let it happen again. My lady is magnanimous, and I am eternally grateful." Ning Chuan stepped forward, wanting to hug Zuching, but she dodged him with a swift movement. P.S. Second update. Chapter 107 Sacred Heart Begonia. Then, he pulled Ning Rongrong to the living room outside the room and started whispering. It wasn't until a moment later that the two walked in, chatting and laughing. Needless to say, Zhu Zuqing had also reached level 30. However, the exact amount of her improvement would only be known after she obtained her third spirit ring. At this moment, Yi Lingling finally woke up. A soft groan, ying, attracted the attention of the three. Turning around, they saw that Yi Lingling had completely transformed. Not only had her blue hair turned golden, but her entire demeanor had also changed significantly. She was no longer as aloof and cold. Her eyes had become slightly larger, and her skin had a touch more rosiness compared to before, no longer appearing pale. Most importantly, her figure, in terms of proportion alone, had surpassed all the women Ning Chuan had seen so far. She was a golden-haired, big-eyed beauty, and the kind with an exceptionally good temperament and figure. She could even rival Ning Chuan, who was known as the Douluo's top male model, in Qingzhao's writings. She was only second to all the esteemed readers. Is this still Lingling? Ning Rongrong walked up to Yi Lingling in disbelief, scrutinizing her. If before, Yi Lingling was just a beauty on the same level as her and Zhu Zuqing, then at this moment, she had clearly surpassed them by more than half a step. She had become so beautiful, with an incredibly good figure. It was as if she was a beauty who had stepped out of a mythical world. Just standing there, she resembled a stunning painting. It was hard to imagine how many male beasts she would captivate if she were to go outside. Darn it, I want a figure like that too. Ning Rongrong looked at Yi Lingling's chest and hips, then at her own. Envy disfigured her. She wasn't jealous of Yi Lingling's looks or temperament because she was confident that she wouldn't be inferior to her when she grew up. But this figure, she truly couldn't catch up to it no matter what. Probably only Zuqing could, with that pair of evil, overpower Yi Lingling in the future. If not me, then who? Yi Lingling asked, puzzled. You should first look at yourself. Ning Rongrong put her arm around Yi Lingling's back and walked to Louise's dressing table. Looking at her stunning reflection in the mirror, Yi Lingling was also instantly stunned. Is this me? Ning Rongrong said, otherwise, what do you think? Hurry up and check how much your spirit power has increased. And your spirit, that's the most important thing. Ning Chuan said that spirit affects a person's appearance. Your appearance has changed so much, it must be due to the influence of your spirit. My spirit power seems to have increased to level 40. As for my spirit, Yi Lingling hesitated for a moment, recalling what Ning Chuan had said earlier, and raised her hand to summon her spirit. It was a begonia flower, slightly different in that it was no longer the pink of the former 9-heart begonia. Instead, it was golden. The moment the spirit was summoned, it immediately released a golden light, forming a spherical light shield that enveloped her. Yi Lingling, enveloped in the spherical light, became extremely sacred. Not only did her skin emit a white light distinct from the golden, but her beautiful golden long hair did as well. She looked like a goddess descending from the heavens. However, at this moment, tears involuntarily welled up in her eyes and fell onto the golden begonia flower. She choked out the name of her spirit, Sacred Heart Begonia. As a top support system spirit, it also had limitations. The 7 treasure glazed tile pagoda had the superior spirit, 9 treasure glazed tile pagoda, so the 9-heart begonia naturally also had one. That was the Sacred Heart Begonia. Besides no longer having the restriction that only 2 9-heart begonias could exist, and only one per generation, it also possessed extremely powerful support abilities. Not only was its area of effect healing ability twice as strong as before, but it could also grant immunity to all poisons and counteract evil attribute spirits. And most importantly, as long as one obtained a spirit ring, they could increase all attributes of their allies by 10%, regardless of their base. After that, for every spirit ring gained, the increase would be 5%. Don't underestimate 5%, even when promoted to title Douluo, the maximum increase is only 50%, far less than the 100% increase of the 9 treasure glazed tile pagoda after cultivating to title Douluo. However, it can stack with the increases of other support system spirits, and it is an area of effect increase. Theoretically, as long as there is enough spirit power, it can provide mass increases. This was an advantage that the 9 treasure glazed tile pagoda did not possess. Although Ning Rongrong did not know about the Sacred Heart Begonia, she could vaguely guess what the evolution of the 9-heart begonia meant for Yi Lingling. She sincerely blessed her. Congratulations, Lingling. Yi Lingling's gaze drifted towards Ning Chuan behind Ning Rongrong. Zhu Zuqing, fearing she might gain another sister, was about to vigilantly block Ning Chuan, preventing Yi Lingling from throwing herself into his arms like Ning Rongrong. However, Yi Lingling had already bowed slightly towards Ning Chuan. Ning Chuan, thank you. At this, she suddenly paused, adding, also, I will repay you. Recalling her previous agreement with Ning Chuan, it was only because Ning Rongrong and Zhu Zuqing were currently dazzled by the golden light emitted by the Sacred Heart Begonia that they couldn't clearly see Yi Lingling's cheeks, which were now completely flushed. Good. Ning Chuan accepted with pleasure. This was what he deserved. However, he was still somewhat surprised that Yi Lingling's spirit could evolve into this form. But thinking about it, it wasn't strange. As the only immortal herb in the original novel that no one had consumed, the original work only stated that it could counteract all poisons. There must have been other divine effects that no one had discovered. 2.5 hours later, Louise opened her eyes again, purple light flickering within them. She looked radiant and refreshed. And her spirit power had also increased to level 50 after absorbing the 60,000-year Medusa head spirit bone. Teacher, congratulations. Feeling the much stronger spirit power fluctuations from Louise than before, Ning Chuan stepped forward to congratulate her. Zhu Zuqing, Ning Rongrong, and Yi Lingling also cast their blessings. All of this is thanks to you. It was impossible for Louise not to be happy to advance to Spirit King so quickly. After all, she was only 32 years old now. Even in the outside world, a 32-year-old Spirit King was considered an extraordinary genius. Moreover, there was still the medicinal power of the immortal herb remaining in her body. In the future, her cultivation would only be smooth sailing. Just as everyone was celebrating Louise's promotion to Quasi-Spirit King, a loud sword hum and a rich plum blossom scent wafted over. Illusory plum blossom suddenly released from Lu Zhongsheng's body, soaring into the sky. The wooden roof offered no resistance whatsoever and was directly torn off. Dust rose everywhere. Several Spirit Douluo elders of the Dark Fragrance Sword family heard the commotion and rushed over immediately, summoning their spirits and spirit rings, 2 yellow, 2 purple, and 4 black, a uniform 8 spirit rings and the Dark Fragrance Sword spirit. However, their focuses differed, some were strong attackers, while others were agile attackers. P.S. Third update. Chapter 108 Everyone after the breakthrough. One of the elders of the Dark Fragrance Sword family clearly recognized Ning Chuan. He glanced at Lu Jiansheng, who was covered in dust, then looked at Louise and Ning Chuan and said, Louise, Ning kid, what exactly happened? Louise, your spirit power has broken through to level 50. Yes, third uncle, not only me, but my father is also about to break through. He is currently attempting to break through the level 90 bottleneck, Louise replied with a smile. The eyes of several elders of the Dark Fragrance Sword family all lit up at the mention of level 90. Another person said, doesn't that mean the patriarch is about to become a titled Douluo? He is indeed about to break through. It should be sometime soon, Ning Chuan said seriously. Haha, truly heaven blesses my Dark Fragrance Sword family. After several hundred years, another titled Douluo is finally born, the elder whom Louise had called third uncle laughed loudly. Alright, second elder, third elder, don't be happy too soon. The most urgent matter is to protect the patriarch while he cultivates. No one can disturb him. If he fails, all our efforts will be in vain. The last person spoke. Then he looked at Louise, Louise, you and Ning Chuan, along with these other girls, go to the west courtyard first. We old fellows can watch over things here. Louise nodded and led Ning Chuan and the three girls to a courtyard on the west side, which was specifically used to host guests. Ning Chuan had also stayed there when he first arrived. However, at some point, he had simply settled into Louise's current courtyard and refused to leave. Upon arriving at the west courtyard, Ning Chuan said, perfect. I once, by chance, obtained a special spirit power meditation method. I've already taught it to Zuching, teacher, Rongrong, and Lingling, I will now formally teach it to you. With it, your cultivation speed should increase. However, I hope you can keep this a secret for me. Otherwise, to put it lightly, it might attract the coveting of the entire Douluo continent. To put it seriously, it might even lead to the disappearance of the spirit master profession on the Douluo continent. Zhu Zuching echoed, Ning Chuan is right. This meditation method absolutely cannot be spread. Otherwise, it would definitely be a very dangerous matter. Upon hearing this, Louise, Ning Rongrong, and Yi Lingling were all very curious. What kind of meditation method could make the two of them so cautious? Ning Chuan did not say much, directly orally transmitting the first layer of mysterious heaven skill to them. And at this moment, they finally understood why. Because this was a meditation method that allowed one to cultivate spirit power without needing to awaken spirit power, or even awaken a spirit. If such a thing were to spread, it was unimaginable how great a sensation it would cause on the Douluo continent. How many people it would cause to covet it. As for why it could lead to the disappearance of the spirit master profession, it was also very simple. Because the spread of mysterious heaven skill would inevitably lead to an explosive increase in the number of spirit masters. At that time, no matter how many spirit beasts there were, they would not be enough for the spirit masters of the Douluo continent to hunt. And without spirit beasts, spirit masters would be unable to advance, and the spirit master profession would naturally cease to exist. After listening, Ning Rongrong was the first to stand up and guarantee, don't worry, I will absolutely not spread it, not even to my family. Yi Lingling was the second to state, me too. Although Louise knew what mysterious heaven skill could bring to the Dark Fragrance Sword family, she also knew that this thing would bring disaster to the Dark Fragrance Sword family. Moreover, the Dark Fragrance Sword family has always lived in seclusion, and whether they had mysterious heaven skill or not made no difference. Most importantly, this was what Ning Chuan said, and she naturally wouldn't make her disciples feel awkward. Alright, while Senior Lu is in seclusion breaking through, you all should familiarize yourselves with mysterious heaven skill and strive to cultivate the first layer. Afterwards, we will go out together to hunt spirit rings for you. Also, Zuching, your mysterious heaven skill should be close to breaking through the third layer. Work hard these next few days, put in some effort. At Ning Chuan's urging, the four girls sat down cross-legged, in a line. Under Ning Chuan's guidance, they began cultivating mysterious heaven skill. And Ning Chuan, after finding that they had gotten on track, finally began cultivating himself. Currently, his spirit power was around 36.5 levels, very close to 37 levels. He could try to make a push. Half a month passed quickly. Ning Rongrong and Yi Lingling, who had better talent, were the first to cultivate the first layer of mysterious heaven skill. It is worth mentioning that they only took less than 7 days. Louise was a bit slower, taking nearly half a month. And at this time, Ning Chuan's spirit power finally broke through to level 37, and Zhu Zuching, utilizing the body's transformation by the Narcissus Jade Muscle Bone, successfully broke through the third layer of mysterious heaven skill. As for Lu Jiansheng, his breakthrough took longer than Ning Chuan had anticipated. This made Louise start to worry. Fortunately, 2.5 days later, he finally emerged from seclusion. He successfully broke through the level 90 bottleneck. Now, the levels of the 6 people after consuming the immortal herb are: Lu Jiansheng, spirit power level 90, spirit dark fragrance sword, spirit ring configuration 2 yellow, 2 purple, 4 black. Louise, spirit power level 50, spirit dark fragrance sword, spirit ring configuration 2 yellow, 2 purple. Yi Lingling, spirit power level 40, spirit sacred heart begonia, spirit ring configuration 2 yellow, 1 purple. Ning Chuan, spirit power level 37, spirit green bamboo bee cloud sword, spirit ring configuration yellow, purple, purple. Zhu Zuching, spirit power level 30, spirit hell civet, spirit ring configuration 2 yellow. Ning Rongrong, spirit power level 30, spirit 9 treasure glazed tile pagoda, spirit ring configuration 2 yellow. Early the next morning, the 6 of them, accompanied by 3 spirit Douluo elders of the Dark Fragrance Sword family, set off for the Stardow Great Forest to hunt for spirit rings. Upon entering the Stardow Great Forest, the group split into 2 teams. Louise's third uncle, who was also the third elder of the Dark Fragrance Sword family, led Ning Chuan and the 4 girls to the outer perimeter to hunt for spirit rings. The first elder and second elder, on the other hand, accompanied Lu Jiansheng to the deeper parts of the Stardow Great Forest to hunt spirit beasts over 50,000 years old for Lu Jiansheng's 9th spirit ring. Ning Chuan's group had pretty good luck. It only took 5 days to hunt suitable spirit rings for Louise and the 3 girls. First was Ning Rongrong. Her spirit could directly attach spirit rings according to the 7 treasure glazed tile school's prescribed route. Ning Chuan did not interfere too much, only finding her a soul power holy wood of about 1700 years, allowing her to obtain a spirit ability that amplified spirit power, just like in the original work. However, perhaps because Ning Rongrong, as a support system spirit master, had a naturally weaker physique, she encountered some difficulty in absorbing this spirit ring. Fortunately, at the critical moment, Yi Lingling took action, and with the assistance of Sacred Heart Begonia, Ning Rongrong successfully overcame the difficulty. After absorbing the Soul Power Holy Wood Spirit Ring, she not only gained a 40% amplification in strength, speed, and spirit power, but her spirit power also increased to level 36. Then there was Yi Lingling. Yi Lingling's spirit was originally 9 Heart Begonia, and regardless of how many spirit rings were attached, it only had one spirit ability, which was Area of Effect Healing. After evolving into Sacred Heart Begonia, her spirit gained the effects of countering all poisons, suppressing evil spirits, and amplifying all attributes, in addition to Area of Effect Healing. Therefore, Ning Chuan chose a Soul Power Holy Wood for her that was nearly 4,700 years old. P.S. First update. Chapter 109 Bone Stealing. The reason for choosing Soul Power Holy Wood was not for anything else, but precisely because of its wood attribute and its inherent abundant vitality. This can prevent the child Yi Lingling gives birth to in the future from having their spirit degenerate into 9 Heart Begonia when they awaken their spirit. Originally, Ning Chuan could have also suggested that Ning Rongrong try to absorb spirit rings with gem attributes in the future to prevent the degeneration of her descendants' spirits into the 7 treasure glazed tile pagoda. It's just a pity that such spirit beasts are too rare, and even if found, they might not be suitable for Ning Rongrong, so it wasn't mentioned much. After absorbing the over 4,700-year-old Soul Power Holy Wood Spirit Ring, Yi Lingling's spirit power did not skyrocket, it only increased by 1 level, reaching level 41, which is a normal standard after absorbing a spirit ring. However, with Mysterious Heaven skill and the Silvery Fragrance Immortal product, her cultivation speed is bound to be faster than before. Following Ning Rongrong and Yi Lingling, Zhu Zuqing and Louise also obtained suitable spirit rings. They were, respectively, a 1,900-year-old Shadow Leopard and a 10,000-year-old Death Thorns. First, the Shadow Leopard. Zhu Zuqing successfully absorbed it with the dual assistance of Yi Lingling and Ning Rongrong, plus her Black Widow external soul bone. This caused Zhu Zuqing's spirit power to directly soar to level 37, instantly catching up with Ning Chuan, and it also provided her with a spirit ability similar to Ning Chuan's third spirit ability, Sword Shadow. Although she cannot split into up to 8 clones like Ning Chuan as her spirit rings increase, she only has a fixed 2, but each clone possesses half of her main body's strength and can use spirit ring skills, which is still quite good. Once Ning Chuan teaches her the divided mind control method, it is believed that Zhu Zuqing's strength will rise another level. After that, she only needs to wait for her 4th spirit ring to add a sufficiently strong attack type spirit ring. Then there's the Death Thorns. As a wood-attributed tool spirit, just like the green bamboo bee cloud sword, the dark fragrance sword naturally chose a wood-attributed spirit beast as the most appropriate. And this rather offensive Death Thorns is very suitable for Louise. Once her 5th spirit ability is unleashed, with the dark fragrance sword at the center, it emits countless palm-sized conical pink sword manifestations to attack. Each sword manifestation possesses 1/3 of her own spirit power's attack power. It belongs to a range attack skill and can also lock onto opponents to launch a barrage effect for single target attacks. It has a similar effect to Daimubai's 4th spirit ability, White Tiger Meteor Shower, in the original work. It is an enhanced version of the White Tiger Meteor Shower. Thus, Ning Chuan and his group's spirit hunting operation was successfully concluded. The group waited for Lu Jiansheng and the 2 elders on the outskirts of the Stardo Great Forest. 3 days later, Lu Jiansheng returned, flying back, and he also brought along the 2 elders from the Dark Fragrance Sword family. It seems, Senior Lu, that you have already obtained your 9th spirit ring. This was the first thing Ning Chuan said after seeing Lu Jiansheng. Haha, my luck wasn't bad. I encountered a sword-toothed demon tiger of around 70,000 years in the depths of the Stardo Great Forest, and I even got a torso bone. It's for you. Lu Jiansheng laughed and threw out a gleaming white torso bone that exuded a bloody, ferocious aura. This was also a partial repayment of Ning Chuan's kindness in helping him break through to title Douluo. It also helped deepen their relationship. Ning Chuan took it without even looking, directly giving it to Louise. Teacher, you take it and absorb it. This spirit bone is not suitable for me. This caused Lu Jiansheng and the 3 elders of the Dark Fragrance Sword family to be momentarily stunned. Louise, however, took it and did not refuse as she had before. Currently, although they are still master and disciple, their relationship is stronger than ever, and there is no need to be so clear about distinctions anymore. After a brief moment of surprise, Lu Jiansheng spoke. Next, we are returning to the family. Do you want to come back with us? Senior, aren't you going to Spirit Hall to obtain your title? Ning Chuan asked, somewhat surprised. Lu Jiansheng shook his head. Fame is insignificant to me, and besides, the continental situation is unpredictable right now. My Dark Fragrance Sword family has always focused on inheritance, and there's no need to get involved in the continent's disputes. Upon hearing this, Ning Chuan expressed understanding. After all, sometimes being too high profile is not a good thing and can easily lead to being targeted. The Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon clan in the original work is the best example. Although they did not participate in the conflict between Spirit Hall and the 2 empires, nor did they jump around in front of Spirit Hall all day like the 7 treasure glazed tile school, because they were unwilling to submit to any side and were powerful enough, they were annihilated by Spirit Hall. Of course, the credit for that certainly goes to that guy. Ning Chuan said, in that case, I have something to ask of Senior. You have shown me great kindness, so speak freely. Even marrying Louise to you is fine. The latter part of the sentence, Lu Jiansheng used spirit power sound transmission, directly sending the sound into Louise and Ning Chuan's minds. Ning Chuan replied, I will marry her once I become a titled Douluo in the future. Currently, Ning Chuan's mental force already met the conditions for spirit power sound transmission. Their conversation directly made Louise blush, and fortunately, they were using spirit power sound transmission, otherwise Louise would have had to find a hole to crawl into. Cough. Ning Chuan lightly coughed and said, the Soul Master competition is about to begin in about a year and a half. I would like to ask Senior to guide our cultivation during this period, and also to accompany me to retrieve something. With Lu Jiansheng, a titled Douluo, he would no longer have to worry about being ambushed by Tang Rishan at the Soul Master competition. As for the item to be retrieved, it was even simpler, the 100,000-year-old Blue-Silver Emperor right leg bone, and the Blue-Silver Emperor itself. It couldn't be ruined by old mouse again. What is it? No problem, just leave it to this old man. Lu Jiansheng readily agreed. Teacher, don't stay at Notting Academy anymore. Just come with me to Heaven Do Royal Academy and be our team leader there, Ning Chuan said to Louise. I'll listen to you. But I still need to tell Dean Geno. Louise naturally didn't want to be separated from Ning Chuan again. That's exactly what I intended. To retrieve the Blue-Silver Emperor right leg bone, he certainly couldn't bring so many people, Lu Jiansheng alone was enough. That evening, Zhu Zuqing, Yi Lingling, and Ning Rongrong returned to Notting Academy with Louise. After Louise informed the dean of her departure, although he felt deeply regretful, he did not stop her. After all, everyone has their own path to walk. Meanwhile, Ning Chuan and Lu Jiansheng arrived near Saint Spirit Village. First, he pinched himself hard to test if Old Mouse was around. This continued for 3 consecutive days. Each time Ning Chuan searched a new area, he would use a different method to inflict harmless side effects on himself, confirming whether Old Mouse was present. Then he would search for the Blue-Silver Emperor and the Spirit Bone. Of course, Ning Chuan wasn't searching randomly, he specifically looked for places with waterfalls. Finally, thousands of meters above an area near a waterfall, Ning Chuan successfully bound it. Binding successful. After the successful binding, all the stinging pain on Ning Chuan's body disappeared. He said to Lu Jiansheng, Senior, let's hide first. P.S. Second update. Chapter 110. At this time, Tang Rishan still didn't know that his wife had been stolen. Upon hearing this, Senior Lu, though confused, still led Ning Chuan to hide behind the mountain opposite the waterfall. To Senior Lu's astonishment, Ning Chuan released tens of thousands of devouring gold bugs, enveloping the two of them to block their spirit power fluctuations. Then, using the devouring gold bugs to obstruct the view, he took out a large handful of laxatives he had never used before, put them in his mouth and swallowed them, then transferred the side effects to Old Mouse. Not long after, the stone door below the waterfall opened, and a hunched old man, clutching his backside, darted out and flew into the distance. It seems he doesn't want to defile the place where Yin resides, but that's good, it's just as I intended. Ning Chuan chuckled inwardly, then turned to Senior Lu and said, Senior Lu, send me down there. Little Ning, what was that just now? Senior Lu looked astonished. If he hadn't seen wrong just now, the other party had flown away without using his spirit, which meant the person who had just left was a titled Douluo. And the strange, eerie black armor made of bugs on their bodies, good heavens, it turns out his future son-in-law is a twin spirits holder. Ning Chuan said, I'll explain to you later. A moment later, Ning Chuan was sent to the bottom of the waterfall by Senior Lu. Ning Chuan pushed open the boulder where Tang Rishan had emerged earlier, had Senior Lu stand guard outside, and then entered the stone chamber within the cave. Upon seeing the blue-silver grass with golden patterns, formed from Yin's seed, he didn't hesitate. He quickly transplanted it into a pre-prepared flower pot and then stored it in his Chenkin bag. Immediately after, he released devouring gold bugs to search. Finally, on the ceiling of the stone chamber, he found the black iron box where Tang Rishan had hidden the spirit bone. He collected the spirit bone inside, erased his footprints, and then used the devouring gold bugs to check if any traces of their presence remained. From beginning to end, not a single clue was left behind. Finally, he even thoughtfully closed the stone door for Tang Rishan and planted a withered blue-silver grass. To make it look more convincing, he also deliberately left dozens of devouring gold bugs wrapped around this withered blue-silver grass, disguised as the Blue-Silver Emperor. As long as Ning Chuan didn't actively remove them or his spirit power didn't run out, Tang Rishan wouldn't notice immediately. When Tang Rishan sees the withered blue-silver grass in the future, that will truly be fun. Then, under Senior Lu's flight, they flew away in the opposite direction from where Tang Rishan had left, bypassed Saint Spirit Village, and after some twists and turns, finally returned to Notting Academy. During this time, Ning Chuan didn't explain anything, and Senior Lu didn't ask again, but he knew Ning Chuan hadn't done anything good. But what did that matter to him? As long as Ning Chuan was good to his daughter, that was all that mattered. Seeing Ning Chuan and his group return, Louise and the other 3 girls did not stay any longer. That night, the 6 of them left Nuoding City overnight. 3 days passed, and Ning Chuan and his group had already left the Fasanua province where Nuoding City was located. And Tang Rishan was finally relieved from 3 days of constant bombardment. Strange, why did I suddenly start having an upset stomach? Tang Rishan didn't think about his diarrhea in any other way. After all, he hadn't attached a poison attribute spirit ring like Tang San, and he hadn't come into contact with anyone for months. He simply thought it was due to days of rough travel, which had upset his stomach. Well, it's time to go see little San. He looked at his stinking, tattered robes and then at his stomach, which was shriveled and rumbling from 3 days of diarrhea. Tang Hao felt he had no face to see Yin, so he didn't enter the cave. He bathed on the spot below the waterfall, changed into relatively clean clothes, and then went to Saint Spirit Village to steal some food. After eating and drinking his fill, he headed straight for Heaven Do City. Regardless of Tang Rishan's situation, Ning Chuan and his group, after leaving Fasanua province, spent another 7 days. Led by Ning Chuan, they arrived at Old Poison's former residence. The area was still surrounded by a poisonous array year-round. To the astonished gazes of Ning Rongrong, Yi Lingling, and Louise, Ning Chuan released tens of thousands of devouring gold bugs. Then, a horrifying scene unfolded. The poisonous array was quickly gnawed away by the swarm of bugs, creating a passage wide enough for several people to walk side by side. Alright, let's go in. This passage will only last for a while, it will quickly revert. Ning Chuan took the lead and walked in. Ning Rongrong quickly followed, asking, Ning Chuan, what were those bugs just now? They are my second spirit, Ning Chuan answered frankly. Upon hearing this, Ning Rongrong was even more shocked. You have twin spirits. Not only her, but even Yi Lingling, Louise, and Senior Lu, who had witnessed Ning Chuan's second spirit, were all deeply startled at this moment. Only Little Cat, who knew earliest, didn't react as exaggeratedly. However, surprise was certainly inevitable. Because Ning Chuan's devouring gold bugs, compared to last time, had not only changed color from their original silver to golden silver, but their size had also increased considerably. Their numbers were even terrifying. There were probably tens of thousands of them. A moment later, everyone passed through the poisonous array, and the passage, having lost the devouring gold bug's consumption, reverted to its original appearance. What now appeared before everyone was the familiar jungle. At the center of the jungle was the hill where the ice and fire yin-yang well was located, and beneath the hill was Old Poison's cave dwelling. I seem to have been here before, is there a cave dwelling up ahead? Yi Lingling looked at her surroundings, feeling a sense of familiarity. What, you've been here? Ning Chuan feigned confusion. Then it must be right. This is the residence of Du Guyan's grandfather, Poison Douluo. When we were acquiring our third spirit ring, Du Guyan brought us here once. It's just a pity. Thinking back to 2 months ago, when Prince Shuixing and Crown Prince Shuiqing said that Du Gubo had gone missing, and Du Guyan was also nowhere to be found, Yi Lingling couldn't help but feel a little sad. It seems they were very likely killed over a month ago, Ning Chuan suddenly realized. Hearing that even a titled Douluo had been killed, Louise couldn't help but show a nervous expression, asking, how so? Ning Chuan stated the explanation he had prepared, saying, ever since I received news about the immortal herb, I've been searching for it. A large part of the reason I joined Heaven Do Royal Academy was for the immortal herb. Fortunately, I was lucky. After searching for over a month, I finally found a record of the immortal herb in an ancient book in the Heaven Do Royal Academy's library. That day happened to be the day the royal fight team, which includes Lingling and Du Guyan, returned. That night, I followed the clues to Sunset Forest to search, and it took me over half a month to finally find this place. At that time, there was already no one here. Later, when I returned to Heaven Do Royal Academy, news spread of Poison Douluo and Du Guyan's disappearance. After listening to Ning Chuan's words, Senior Lu couldn't help but break into a cold sweat for Ning Chuan. It's a good thing that Old Poison wasn't there, otherwise your life would have been in danger. That old fellow is notoriously ruthless. Ning Chuan was noncommittal. Indeed. However, looking at this situation, and with Poison Douluo not appearing even after we entered, it seems he really has been killed. Ning Rongrong lightly snorted, if he's dead, he's dead. Anyway, that old fellow wasn't a good person. P.S. Third update. Chapter 111 6 months after raising Ayin, additional update for the Dark Star Emperor. This matter ultimately began because of me. Ning Chuan shook his head, feigning sadness and self-reproach. Alas, if I had known this, I shouldn't have revealed that Du Guyan might have been poisoned. Otherwise, Senior Dugu and Yanzi might not have been in trouble. I harmed them. Louise stepped forward and embraced Ning Chuan, pulling him into her soft embrace, her eyes full of comforting tenderness. Xiao Chuan, this is not your responsibility. Zhu Zuqing said coldly, Sister Louise is right. That day, you kindly warned her, but it only brought Du Guyan's harsh words. This time, Du Gubo, in his quest for an antidote, attacked Tang San, only to be suppressed and killed by his father, Clear Sky Douluo. It can only be said to be karmic retribution. Ning Rongrong echoed, exactly. It's also fortunate that Old Poison didn't come looking for you first that day, or you would have been in danger. But Ning Chuan still maintained a deeply self-reproachful expression. Yi Lingling watched Ning Chuan's reaction, and her gaze towards him softened. She sighed in her heart, he truly is a gentle person. If Yan Yan were still alive, I'm sure she would have been very happy to be friends with you. Only Lu Jiansheng gnashed his teeth a little. Although he had already accepted this future son-in-law in his heart, was it really okay for Ning Chuan to take liberties with his daughter in front of him, her father? A moment later, everyone arrived in front of Old Poison's cave dwelling. Because no one had taken care of it for a long time, the embedded bamboo house at the entrance of the cave dwelling had accumulated a thick layer of dust. At this moment, everyone silently accepted the fact that Du Gubo and Du Guyan had already perished. After a simple cleanup, Ning Chuan said, alright, next, teacher, you, Zuqing, Rongrong, and Lingling, the 4 of you, will live in this cave dwelling. Senior Lu and I will build a wooden house outside. I need to replant the seeds of the immortal herbs we consumed earlier, so they can regrow in 1,000 years. Senior Lu, I'll leave the work of building the wooden house to you. You really know how to order people around. Alright, you brat, hurry up and go, Lu Jiansheng said with a laughing curse. Ning Chuan smiled, summoned his 8 spider lances, and with a sudden spring, he soared up the mountainside. A few seconds later, he disappeared into the sea of clouds. Lu Jiansheng looked in the direction Ning Chuan disappeared, muttering to himself, tisk, tisk, twin spirits, and this external spirit bone. Daughter, oh daughter, you must seize this opportunity. The others wore expressions of confusion. After Zhu Zuqing explained and displayed her external spirit bone, Ning Rongrong became incredibly envious. It wasn't that she envied Zhu Zuqing for having a spirit bone, but rather that she envied Ning Chuan for giving Zhu Zuqing a spirit bone. On the other side, after planting various immortal herb seeds, Ning Chuan took out the blue silver emperor and planted it in the partitioned area of the Yuan Yang Guo. Looking at the trembling blue silver emperor in front of him, seemingly afraid of something, Ning Chuan frowned. Then, as if he suddenly remembered something, he bit his index finger directly and dripped his fresh blood, which contained the medicinal power of the octagonal mysterious ice grass and the inferno apricot flood, onto the blue silver emperor's branches and leaves. The entire blue silver emperor stiffened. As Ning Chuan's fresh blood was absorbed, a series of alternating red and blue halos erupted from the blue silver emperor's surface. Vaguely, the individual blue silver emperor seemed to have grown a bit larger than before. And at this time, she was no longer so resistant to Ning Chuan. Ning Chuan raised his hand and touched her branches and leaves. She only symbolically resisted a few times before allowing Ning Chuan to do as he pleased. After touching her for a while, the blue silver emperor seemed to sense that Ning Chuan had no ill intentions and stopped trembling. Ning Chuan sat cross-legged in front of the blue-silver emperor, cultivating mysterious heaven skill while secretly chuckling. Next, I just need to feed her my essence blood daily. In less than a year and a half, Yin will become the shape I desire. As for Tang Rishan and Tang San, you two should find another wife and another mother. And so, from that day on, Ning Chuan and his group took up residence in Douluo Bo's old lair. Every day, he would feed his blood to Yin. With the gradual feeding of blood, plus the special environment of the ice and fire yin-yang well, the blue-silver emperor grew larger and larger. In just half a year, Yin had almost grown to the 1,000-year level. At the same time, she also became increasingly affectionate towards Ning Chuan. Whenever she sensed Ning Chuan's arrival, she would affectionately cling to him. As for the side effects of losing blood, they were naturally transferred to Old Mouse. Anyway, during the first 3 months after he awakened his spirit, he bled a lot. The side effects of weakness caused by blood loss had long been bound to Old Mouse. Of course, besides feeding the blue-silver emperor, Ning Chuan also didn't forget to cultivate. During these past 6 months, he spent most of his time daily immersing himself in the spring water of the ice and fire yin-yang well, promoting the circulation of mysterious heaven skill and accelerating his body's absorption of the medicinal power from the octagonal mysterious ice grass and the inferno apricot flood. The remaining time was spent cultivating swordsmanship and the martial arts recorded in the mysterious heaven treasure record, and he also dabbled in hidden weapons. Although he wouldn't use these things much in the future, it was always right to be prepared for the unexpected. After all, having a sword in hand and not using it is one thing, and not having a sword at all is another. However, just because Ning Chuan didn't use them didn't mean that the others wouldn't. Among them, the ones who needed hidden weapons the most were Yi Lingling and Ning Rongrong, 2 support system spirit masters. Ning Chuan not only taught them mysterious heaven skill, mysterious jade hand, purple demon eye, ghost shadow perplexing track, and controlling crane catching dragon. He also did not hold back in teaching them the hidden weapons techniques recorded in the mysterious heaven treasure record. Basically, Ning Chuan taught them as much as they could learn. As for mechanical hidden weapons, he hadn't forged any, as Ning Chuan didn't have that much time to do so. During his cultivation, Ning Chuan also didn't forget to consult Senior Lu Zhansheng, a titled Douluo, on some cultivation knowledge. After all, his understanding of cultivation was limited to foresight and knowledge gained from books. There were some points he didn't know or hadn't noticed. Lu Zhansheng, however, was different. Aside from breaking through to 91st level with the help of immortal herbs, before that, he had cultivated almost step by step on his own. Therefore, he gave Ning Chuan a lot of inspiration. And during these past 6 months, all the girls had made significant progress. First, Little Cat and Ning Rongrong. In these past 6 months, their spirit power progressed rapidly, both increasing by 2 spirit power levels, reaching level 39 and 38 respectively. Currently, Little Cat is preparing to break through to Spirit Ancestor. Yi Lingling, perhaps because her spirit quality had already reached an extremely high level, or perhaps because her spirit power was already very close to 42nd level after absorbing her 4th spirit ring, also increased by 2 spirit power levels in just these short 6 months. Reaching level 43. Although Louise's improvement was not as significant as the first 3, after fusing with the 70,000-year sword-toothed demon tiger torso spirit bone, her spirit power increased from 51st level to 53rd level, and then by another level in the following 5 months, reaching 54th level. At this cultivation speed, before the medicinal power of the 10,000-year Ginseng King is completely refined, increasing by 2 to 3 spirit power levels per year should not be a problem. P.S. 4th update. Please give me monthly votes. Starting tomorrow, if I have any saved drafts, I will add more updates for the big bosses who previously gave rewards, slowly making up for them. Louise's fairy grass has changed. Louise's immortal herb was changed.